There. That should be good. You should be able to hear me now. Monitor and output. Monitor and output. Just there. There we go. I was doing some audio stuff before, just testing it out. So, apologies. I had to get that little set up. Alright. We are live. We're going to be talking Sportsnet 650. Getting shut down. Sad. So sad. And we're also going to be talking about the new coaching hires. I tried to find as much as I could. I couldn't really find anything on Jason Krog and Jordan Smith. I will lower it up. Jason Krog, actually, I do want to kind of look at his, not NHL stats, but his elite prospects. Because his coaching was just really about him being a player development coach when it came to Vancouver. So, yeah. BC by 2. Wow. Wow. Lustrous AHL career. Oh, and also was pretty good for the he played for the Chilliwack Chiefs. Before it was just the BCHL when it was the BCJHL. Yo, Swervin, how's it going? We are here, we're live. I just had a slow pitch game. Happy Friday. I did not know. No. I feel like I'm too young. 0809 is kind of like just before. Oh, I should have known him from the Moose and the Wolves. Should have known him from the Moose and the Wolves. I was pretty young. Still. Hopefully it doesn't make you feel too old. I apologize if that does. 112 points in 80 games for the Wolves. Oh my. I'm just looking at his stats right now. I'm going to take these off one just in case I'm yelling a little bit. 38 points in 24 playoff games that year too. Damn. AHL legend. Yeah. AHL legend. And he went out in the 05 lockout. Went and played in, is that Latvia? I might take some live guests. I don't know how late I'll run. I might get a little tired to the end of it, but probably will do some live guests at the end of it. What else do I want to talk about? I'm trying to figure it out. Just a little setup. I haven't had a lot of time to set up before I started the live because busy day. Not really. I had a lot of time to set up before, but I did a good amount of setup. I just really focused on one thing. And also been doing another thing for another series for this channel. I say I'm going to take a step back, but I just feel like I'm getting busier. Let's do the fun thing right now. All right. This might end up getting a little messy when it comes down to it, but we're going to be talking about Sportsnet 650. We're going to be talking about how they took away Sportsnet 650. Not really a last minute live. I had it planned out for a while. Not for a while. I knew what I was going to do on today. I just didn't know if I was going to do a live, and then eventually I realized I was going to do a live. I just didn't give myself enough time to set it up. We're going to do this for fun, just as a little, not really shout out. What's the word I'm trying to go to? Like a thank you to Halford and Bruff. We missed them today, and there was a certain sound that we missed. So, to lead in the live stream, I know you guys might not like this song because it's a little cringy. To lead us into the live stream, a copyright strike. I think I muted my mic. Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to the CanucksLand, the first CanucksLand live stream of the CanucksLand podcast live stream. Of course, I mess it up when I do it live. A little nod to Halford and Bruff. I hope you guys heard it. Oh, you couldn't hear it? Oh, let me do it again. You know what it was? I set it to monitor only. Monitor and output. Here we go. It's not a live stream. It's not a CanucksLand live stream without some failures. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Here we go.
Welcome to Kelowna, California. West Coast.
Kelowna, baby, best place in the world right here.
Kelowna phone, yeah. Kelowna phone, yeah. Kelowna phone, yeah. A phone, yeah. Kelowna phone, yeah. Hey. Kelowna phone, yeah. Kelowna phone, yeah. Kelowna phone, yeah. A phone, yeah. Kelowna phone, yeah.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to the first ever CanucksLand podcast live stream, and we're starting off with a little shout out to Halford and Ruff, the sound we were missing today on a beautiful Friday in Vancouver. And we're going to be talking about the reason why we're missing that sound with Sportsnet 650 getting shut down by Rogers. We're also going to be talking about the new coaching hires, and yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun, and we had to start that off. I don't care if that gets me in trouble when it comes to... Yo, Stephanie, how's it going? I hope I read that right. Yes, Stephanie. I had to start off with that, man. I've been missing it ever since the shutdown. It's going great. Me and Irvin having a great time. We started off with what you heard there, a little shout out to Halford and Bruff because, yeah, we just miss them. Canucks Talk, we miss all of them. Truly. Sportsnet 650 shutting down. It's a travesty. Yeah, it sucks. My last few days of work have been boring. Like, I run out of podcasts because the podcasts I do listen to, I've listened to an insane amount of episodes of them, obviously. They only release once a week, so you go backlog. Sportsnet 650 was an easy way of all new because from 6 to 9, my work started at 6. 3 hours of my work, Halford and Bruff, and then Canucks Talk from 12 to 2. My work ended at 2. It was kind of perfect. So, yeah, it's truly sad. Who's my favorite Canuck? That is a very good question. If you had asked me in December, before January, before he got traded, it was Kiefer Sherwood. Of all time, Burrows. Right now, you say Boyum. I think it's him or Vilander or Coots. Those are my guys. Ratu as well. I don't think I have a favorite at the moment, but if I had to pick some guys that are contending, it's going to be Braden Coots, Ratu, Tom Vilander, and Zeke Boyum. Definitely. Yes, Monday to Friday. It was just good talk. And even Halford and Bruff, they do other stuff too, like the World Cup. I've been getting very invested in the World Cup. I'm not a big soccer fan, but this World Cup's been really fun. And Canada did great, so that was an easy entry to enter into the World Cup with how good Canada did. It was awesome. Justin, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. I'm going to take the headphones off. I only did that to make sure that the audio was working. Also, Malhotra. I'm going to give Malhotra some time to breathe. But I will say one. Aram Olsen. He captivated me at the development camp. Novotny as well. Just looks so good. I already got to clean my nose. I do apologize. 1 second. Coots did have swag at the dev camp. Oh my god, it was so nice to see him. I know a lot of people want him to play in the NHL. And I think some people are just hoping that he would really... Yeah, I don't want to read too much into dev camp as well. I went there, and I'm reading too much into it. But it's not hard... I would say it's not reading too much into it to talk about Aram Olsen's shot. Can we... I'm gonna throw some clips up. I got to. I want to watch some Aram Olsen shots. Just go to YouTube real quick. Let's start it off. We'll get into all the stuff that we will talk about later. But now that you guys got me thinking about dev camp. Yes, I want him to be in the AHL. Oh my god, Aram Olsen. What did you think about the Hoglander trade? I was surprised we got a third. I would say like a fourth or a fifth was my thinking, especially with the contract. I know it's not too much with term, but yeah, I was really happy we got a third for Hoglander. And every time I would do roster predictions, or I would look at the roster and see like where I would put him in, I never really found a spot for Hoglander, and I felt like a change of scenery was needed. And who knows, maybe he can't find it elsewhere when it comes to that. I want to find 2025, 2026 highlights. Should be muted. Until EP40 waves is no trade. Yeah. Burrows as well is my favorite. Captivated me as a young kid. Oh my god. 7-0 in this game that I'm watching right now. This isn't really a shot. I'm assuming that's Aaron Molson shooting. It's not really the best example, but let's get over to it. Sorry guys, I can't really see. Alright, here we go. Desktop audio. This is Aaron Molson. Oh, this is an assist. Okay, at least he says it up top. Assist. Show me a goal. Come on. Does it say goal at the top? This one doesn't. Also love CanucksLand and the Cityans though. Cityans, yes. Very. I cried when the Cityans retired. Okay, there he is, 17. Look how quick. Look how quick. I know that was more of a 1T, but on and off the stick. So fast. 17. Bang. Look at that. Boom. Boom. He has got a wicked release. That was all dev camp. It was all that. Wicked release. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's it. There we go. Wicked release by Aaron Molson. I am very, very much excited for him. I was dev camp. That's a little dev camp thing. Let's see. I missed a little bit. Burrows was the hero for the everyman. Even before, yeah. Even before that, man. Just truly one of the more inspirational stories in the NHL, and also one of the hardest working players on the ice 24/7 when it came to the Vancouver Canucks. And then also being a goon, not really like a complete goon, a rat, more of a rat. Yeah, I took the rat stuff a little too far. I did try to model my game after Burrows, but got suspended a couple times playing hockey, which isn't great. What do you think the Canucks are going to have points-wise this season? Michael Samuelsson. Unfortunately, I'm too young for Michael Samuelsson. It's literally just on the edge for Michael Samuelsson as well. Same thing with Jason Krog. Is that same spot. I don't remember Michael Samuelsson out of memory that much. What was I? What do you think the Canucks are going to have points-wise this year? What do they have points-wise this year? Was it like 56? 58? Just Googled points. Oh my god, CanucksLand. Get in the vibe here. I am, for Irvin, for your reference, I am 23 years old. So 2011, I was only 8, if my math is correct. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this. There we go. Hockey standings for the Vancouver Canucks. 58 points, yeah. And second place was Chicago at 72, if I'm not mistaken. So I'd say 65. We're going to be better. We're going to be better. But I think it's 65. I was in attendance for the last home game for the Twins. I was reading this and I got distracted. The intro, the signs, the chants all game, and the winning goal, storybook ending. Yeah, truly, that is probably one of the greatest hockey games in terms of story I've ever watched. Man, that game was awesome. I cried. I'll say about 65 to 70. Still last. Yeah, I think we're still last, but we're better in points. I don't think we're going to be too much better. Honest, like, difference between last year, right? Obviously, no Quinn Hughes. Yeah. Yeah, so anybody, like, kind of in, like, the edge of, like, Oh, okay, yeah, so you're a fan later. So yeah, that era would be for you, like how like just before 2011 was for me. Like the 03 run that I talk about, like, oh, that team could have made the Stanley Cup Finals, probably one of the better Canucks teams we've ever seen. That was the year I was born. So yeah. Yes. Honestly, I want us to finish last just so we get top three yet again, because I think top three for this year's draft is going to be great. Before we get into all the talk, let's just have fun and go with it. There's three players that I'm really, really excited about when it comes to the NHL draft 2027. And you know who the first one is? Landon Dupont. I don't even have to be like, oh, Landon Dupont. Surprise. I'm really excited for him. Landon Dupont. Alexis Joseph out of St. John is another guy that I'm really excited about. Let me get over to gaming. Here, Alexis Joseph out of the St. John Sea Dogs, a Quebec native. He is 6'5" at 17, and he's a center. And he was putting up 60 points in 54 games as a 17-year-old in the queue. I'm very excited to see what he does next year. If he takes a big step up, could be a really, really good player. And he's a center, right? I know we want the defense without Landon Dupont. We just went Caleb Malhotra. You can never have enough centers, though. Like, if Alexis Joseph ends up becoming better than Caleb Malhotra, now your future is if Toronto misses the playoffs and win the lottery. Yeah. They missed the playoffs twice in 10 years, and both years they got the first overall pick. Alexander Liang. Where is he? I'm going to try to find him. I want to check out his profile. I'm also looking to see if I can find Privalov. There we go. Before we get to yours, Urban. Nazar Privalov, I'm pretty sure is who he is. Also ranked really highly. 6'4" center left wing, 17-year-old out of Russia, who ranked number 2 by Daily Faceoff. 49 points in 51 games, 30 goals in the MHL. So he's probably going to play MHL again. I don't know, maybe he moves up to the KHL. We'll see. But great numbers in the MHL. Looks to be a really, really good center as well. And then obviously, number 1, Landon Dupont, who put up 73 points in 63 games with the Everett Silvertips, went all the way to the Memorial Cup final and just fell short to Gabriel Sherratt. And the Kitchener Rangers. Another one who would probably be a good late round steal if we're able to. Oh, okay. Sounds good. So I want to see if I can find him. Just scrolling through. Adam Nemec. Didn't he get drafted? No, he didn't. Is there 2 Adam Nemecs? I am so confused. There's 2 Adam Nemecs? Another guy. If we get a late round pick, I wouldn't mind if, like, we get another first round pick. Load. Brock Cripps he's from Victoria. He's a BC kid. Played for Prince Albert last year. 37 points in 62 games, 21 points in 20 playoff games. Looks to be a very, very good defenseman. 5'10", a bit more of an offensive defenseman, I would have to say. 16 years old. Let's see what he could do, because I think he could have a better point production with the Prince Albert Raiders in 37 and 62 next year. But that playoff numbers is just insane. 17 assists. And U17s, he had 6 points in 5 games, 5 assists and 1 goal. So those are the 2 of mine. If we get a late round pick and we end up having 2 first round picks like we did this year, Landon Dupont, Nazar Privalov, and where's the other one? Alexis Joseph are, if we win second or third in the lottery and a late round pick who could be a steal, probably jumps up the charts if I have to be 100% honest. I don't know if Brock Cripps goes low, but Brock Cripps would be another guy that I would really, really like to see. So let's get onto schedule. I didn't have time to do like the whole setup thing. Usually I have text here. I don't have the live chat all set up. So we will do we will do I'll do like a little setup. I'll do. So today we're talking about Sportsnet 650 getting shut down. I just want to give my thoughts on it and hopefully not say the F word. And then we'll talk about the coaching hires and we'll go through Ryan Mugano. I hope that's how you say it. And Jason Krog. But we're going to be going through Jason Krog's career in the AHL. Looks really, really enticing. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop right into it. And feel free to chat. Feel free to let your opinions rattle out in the comments below. We're going to be starting off with the Sportsnet 650 story. We have offside from the Daily Hive. Sportsnet 650 pulled off the air in Vancouver. Vancouver has lost its last all-sports radio station. 5 years after Bell pulled the plug on TSN 1040, Rogers has done the same with Sportsnet 650. Daily Hive can confirm Sportsnet 650 has been playing reruns all morning, and its social media accounts have gone silent. In an emailed response to Daily Hive, Rogers Sports Media spokesperson said, Sportsnet 650... Sorry, guys. Oh my god. I don't want to play steak. Sportsnet 650 is one of the 6 radio stations in 4 markets closing due to declining audience and revenue trends. I doubt that. Because their number they're throwing out, I don't know if it says in this article, was 2,100 listeners. I don't think that is peak listening. I want to get rid of the ad, but whatever. I think that isn't like peak. Like throughout it. I think they just picked a random number. I don't know. There seems like a lot more than 2,100 people that are listening every day. Among the other radio stations shut down are News 1130 in Vancouver, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary. News stations in Calgary, Halifax, and Kitchener also affected. Shout out to all those as well. I know that we're talking about Sportsnet 650 at the moment, but a huge shout out to everyone involved who lost their job and are out of work right now because of the closings in all of these other areas as well. Hopefully you're able to find work somewhere. I know that you probably have the talent to do so and go find work. So good luck to you guys. And I really apologize for this happening to you. Rogers continues to own and operate 44 radio stations in 30 Canadian markets. I'm assuming a lot of them are music radio stations, probably easier to run just when it comes down to it, right? Because you have to do all of the, you have to pay for a lot of people when it comes to sports radio, and I totally kind of get the business side of it when it comes down to it, but I don't understand it and don't like it at all. Getting rid of it. Another thing is with the music radio stations, you just have to have like a DJ and a producer, really, because then you just have that DJ who yaps every once in a while, comes in and he's like, it's Weenie in the Butt, and then they talk for like 5 seconds and then they play radio. And I know Weenie in the Butt's from Family Guy, but like, seriously, I don't understand it. All right, back to the article though. After a thorough review of our radio stations across the country, we have made it the difficult decision but necessary decision to close Sportsnet 650 and News 1130 in Vancouver, reads a statement from Rogers Sports Media. We're grateful to our listeners and our team for their contributions to the local community. I think that's BS. Sportsnet 650 launched in April 2020. Sportsnet 650 launched in Vancouver on April 25th, 2017 as a competitor to TSN 1040, which first aired in Vancouver as the Team 1040 in 2001. While it took years for TSN 1040 to wrestle the Vancouver Canucks broadcast rights away from CKNW, Sportsnet 650 arrived with the Canucks rights secured by Rogers before going on air. Canucks radio broadcast will move to another Rogers Sports Media owned station in the market. The company's spokesperson has confirmed, and I think we can get the radio station that it is going to. I'm going to go find that real quick. I think they confirmed it. Game broadcast. Let's just see. Let me just find it real quick. See if I can. Apologies yet again. Here we go. not entirely there yet. I think Skiers tweeted out. Okay, so the two that are in Vancouver are the Jack 96.9 and Kiss Throwbacks 104.9. So they'd both be FM stations that they'd probably be moving to. So yeah, that's what's probably going to happen with those rights. Now, let me sound off if you guys are upset about Rogers canceling the Sportsnet 650. If you're wanting to just relay your thoughts and scream in the chat, go ahead. Totally fine with you guys doing that. If you want to, Jack FM. Okay, Jack FM. Let's confirm. There we go. Sorry, guys, I couldn't. Yeah, Google wasn't helping there. Yeah. Just sucks. Just sucks. Abby Heat. There we go. Okay. Sorry, the Abby Heat popped on my screen for a second. What I'll say is this. There were truly talented people on Sportsnet 650. Mike Halford, Jason Bruff, the producers, Laddie and A-Dog, Dom, Thomas Durantz, and Jamie Dodd. Those were the people that I listened to mainly. Satir Shah, also talented, Bick Nazar, Randeep Janda, Brendan Batchelor. And I understand that probably Batchelor and Randeep Janda probably still have jobs doing the Canucks broadcast. So hopefully their talents are able to flourish. Another thing, the broadcasting rights, well, then the Abbotsford Canucks won't be able to be broadcasted on radio anymore. So that's another source of outreach for a guy like Brendan Astle, who does great work with the Abbotsford Canucks. I know he does work on Flow Hockey as well. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Maybe, hopefully, he's still the Flow Hockey guy and they're just broadcasting from Flow Hockey onto the radio. Brendan Astle, truly a special talent. Same with Brendan Batchelor. Guys who can move up to the Vancouver Canucks if John Shorthouse does decide to retire. Yeah. Truly talented people. Thomas Durantz is probably one of the smartest Vancouver Canucks media people in the business right now. Like, honestly, he was right about so much, and I think that he can be a little harsh, but sometimes the harshness is what's really right. The Abbey Canucks games were on Sportsnet 650. I remember listening to only, like, if obviously Vancouver and Abbey were playing at the same time, they were. I'm not sure if Giants and Canadians did succeed them, but I don't know if that's even the right word, but I'm 90% sure Abbey Canucks games were on Sportsnet 650. I remember listening to them at one point when I worked at a mill and I was doing fire watch for a mill, and it was late nights. So I was able to throw on some Abbey Canucks games, which is nice, especially in their Calder Cup run. Definitely, they were on Sportsnet 650. Obviously, I mean, Sportsnet 650. If Abbey Canucks are in the playoffs, throw it on. Durantz is polarizing, but love listening to Canucks Talk. It was so good. You know what my favorite thing about Canucks Talk, and I'm really going to miss it, was Jason Bukala's. I know they're on break for the summer, so it's not like Canucks Talk. We were going to be getting it weekly throughout, but we'd be getting it in the start of the new season. Jason Bukala's hits on Canucks Talk, truly spectacular. That is a person who I really want to talk hockey with. Jason Bukala. If I ever get the chance to meet Jason Bukala, chatting it up with the guy, because he knows so much about scouting. I would try to take in so much information from him. He is so smart, and his hits were great. He was the guy who kind of got me on. Which player? No, he kind of got me off the Thomas Renko train. I was very much on the Thomas Renko hype train when it came down to it. Ended up falling to the third round, I'm pretty sure, which is what Bukala said would happen. So he was right. First 1040, now 650. I say whatever comes next. I'm afraid God might answer me. Yeah. Yeah, I never listened to 1040. I should email Jason Bukala. I do need to. That'd be such a cool... If I was able to get Jason Bukala on the CanucksLand podcast, it would be a 2-hour long episode. It would probably be a 7-hour long episode. I don't know. I would chat his ear off until he had to go. I would chat his ear off until he's like, okay, I'm busy. I have to go elsewhere. But I wanted to point out the Team 1040. Yes, 960 in Calgary ended as well. Truly sad. It was even Halifax as well. I think there might have been some in Winnipeg, if I'm not mistaken, as well. But guess what? That's the point I wanted to get to. Was eventually we'll get to the Toronto one. I just wanted to get to this point. Sorry, Rain. First 1040. The thing I like to point out about 1040, right? It was the Team 1040. If I'm not mistaken, Donnie and Dolly were on that. They were able to land on their feet, and they made a really good thing out of that, right? The Donnie and Dolly show. Polarizing, right? I think Dolly is a little out there, a little bit of a Don Cherry Light when it comes down to it. I think that he's very tapped in, and I do like to listen to what he has to say when it comes to insider information. But his opinions can be a little out there. But I really loved his hits on Halford and Rough too. I love how they just scream at each other. Yet again, sorry guys, I have to blow my nose. All right, back. I loved his hits on Halford and Bruff, how they just yell at each other, and it's just so funny. And then when they'd have a calm one, and then he would slam the phone still, even though it was calm, and they're like, that was a good dolly hit. We didn't really yell at each other. Bruff didn't have to get the heart rate going. Out of this, though, what's the only radio station in Sportsnet and Rogers realm when it comes to, and I don't mean Rogers realm as in the TikTok shout out Rogers realm. What's the only one still left? Toronto. What did MLSC just sell? What did Rogers just buy? Stock in MLSC. Rogers buys MLSC. Rogers Communications finalized an agreement to acquire the remaining 25% stake in Maple Leaf Sport Entertainment MLSC from Kilmer Sports Inc. for about $4.35 billion, solidifying their complete control over the sports conglomerate. Meaning, Rogers officially owns the Toronto Maple Leafs, if I'm not mistaken, because MLSC was the owner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Rogers already owns the Blue Jays, the Rogers Center. And the thing about the Vancouver Canucks with it, you're not going to really see anything. Thank you, Gerald. Sorry, I almost said Erman. Thank you, Gerald. Thank you, Headspace Hockey. Truly, you guys do great work as well. Keep up your work as well. I watched your live with Harmon Deal. I hope I say it right. I always mess it up. Very, very good live. I really, really enjoyed it. You guys did great work as well. Shout out to you guys. If you haven't, go check out Headspace Hockey. They're on my last live. If we open it up today, they'll probably hop on. We'll love to have them on as well. They do great work. So yeah, go check them out. Yeah. So now they own the Toronto Maple Leafs. So they then own the Toronto Maple Leafs and shut down radio stations in Vancouver and Calgary and keep the only ones in Toronto. Now, do I blame the city of Toronto? No. The people of Toronto? No. But do I blame the fact that Toronto and the big conglomerates around Toronto, when it comes to all the money, like to think that they're the center of the universe and everybody only cares about him? Real Kipper and Bourne, no offense. I think they're very smart guys. They talk too much about the Leafs. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be an entire NHL show. Talk too much about the Leafs. The fan hockey show talks too much about the Leafs. The only time the fan hockey show is enjoyable for me is when Elliot Friedman comes on, which is usually right after Halford and Bruff. So a little bit more to listen to before I turn the radio off. But yeah. Screw MLSC. Or not screw MLSC. Screw Rogers. Screw Toronto Maple Leafs. And screw the big media conglomerates in Toronto, because they're effing over another huge market. It's not like Vancouver isn't a big market. There is dedication. There is a lot of want for the Vancouver Canucks, like a lot of want for stuff about the Vancouver Canucks. Radio is a nice small thing to talk about it. Video is a thing. Radio is easier to listen to when people are out to work than watching video. People can come home and watch this. They could watch Headspace. They could watch Nothing is Perfect. They can watch, I want to shout out more YouTubers. Canucks Clay. They can watch up Knockhead. They can watch Diener HD. But when you're at work, you can plug in some headphones. I work in the trade, so a lot of people wear headphones. And Sportsnet 650. There's a lot of people in my job site who would blast Sportsnet 650. I didn't really have to listen to it because they're blasting it on their radios, but I listened to it anyway because I wanted to be a listener. Without further ado, let's hop into the Canucks coaching hires really quick. Scared me for a second. I thought that it wasn't live. Let's hop into the Canucks coaching hires and let's learn a little bit about them together, shall we? Because I'm learning about them as well. I don't really know much about these guys. Apologies. Rattled. Little drink. Drink your poo. And for you guys wondering what that is over there, I think we're drying some dill. The lovely lady that I live with, my girlfriend, is growing some dill outside, which is growing like crazy. It is insane how much that's growing. So let's head over to the Vancouver Canucks team info. We have the coaches up there. I'm on Puckpedia. Let's go over. It'd be nice if I could zoom, but you guys could probably read it. Assistant coaches have been hired. Ryan Mugeno. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Jordan Smith, if I messed that up, that'd be hilarious. And Jason Krog. There was also some other hirings. Let me get to the official Canucks Coaching, the official media press. Media update about it. Oh my god, sorry guys, I'm all over the place. It is Ryan Mugano. Hopefully I said that right yet again. Jordan Smith, Jason Krog named assistant coaches. Andrew Shaw named the assistant to the video coach. And is this Andrew Shaw the guy I'm thinking of? Sorry guys, I'm all over the place. I can't see what I'm looking at. Andrew Shaw. The video coach at Chilliwack. He was the video coach at Chilliwack, then the Prince George Spruce Kings in the BCHL, then back to Chilliwack. Then Abby was the video coach for a while. No, okay, it's not the former Blackhawk. That's what I was trying to see. Alrighty, yeah. So, associate coach, assistant coach, video coaches, associate coach, whose only highest is like an associate coach. Now he's the assistant video coach, assistant to the video coach. A very office-like theme for Andrew Shaw there. Not the former Blackhawk. That's what I was thinking. Who had an early career retirement, didn't he, with concussions. Very, very sad to see. But let's get into the big main one. Ryan Mugano, who I don't know if he's the big main one, but look at these coaching positions. I want to go through it because I think this is the guy. That guy is only 34 years old. This Andrew Shaw is 36. Pretty close. Pretty close. It's crazy. University of the Fraser Valley, which I didn't know had a hockey team. 22 points in 21 games. Would have tried out. Would have made it. Let's get over to Ryan Monagle. God, sorry. I'm really tired today, but I'll get through it. Monagle joined Matt Thomas' staff on the Fresno Falcons 2005 as an assistant. Monagle would serve as Thomas' assistant with Fresno until the team folded midway through the 2008-2009 season and rejoined Thomas as an assistant when Thomas was named a midseason replacement for Chris Kachoki, hopefully, who had been fired by the Stockton Thunder midway through the 2008-2009 season. In June 2009, Mougenel. Mougenel. Ah, Mougenel. There we go. Alors. Zut alors. I know a little bit of French, even though I was in French immersion from kindergarten to grade 10. Barely learned to lick a bit. In June 2009, the Las Vegas Wranglers announced that they hired Mougenel to the second assistant to be the second head coach and general manager in team history after their previous coach, Glenn Gulson. Glenn Gulson? Where does he work now? Oh, he's the head coach of the Stars. Became the head coach of AHL's Texas Stars. Mougenel was officially, I'm going to say it like Mougenel, was officially introduced at New Orleans Arena. Ooh la la, oui oui. Mougenel. Early decisions as a head coach and general manager were to bring in former NHL All-Star Keith Primo to take over as the team's director of player development. As well as being, I'm thinking of Canon, I don't know. I think I know Keith Primo. I think I'm thinking of another Primo as well. As well as a special assistant to the general manager and serve as the team and sever the team's ties with the Calgary Flames, who had been Las Vegas NHL affiliate since the team's inaugural season in 2003. Mougenel stated that the cost of the travel between Las Vegas and Abbotsford, British Columbia, the site of Calgary's newly relocated AHL affiliate, and immigration issues from Canada played larger roles in the decision to separate. Mougenel announced that he signed an agreement to become the ECHL affiliate of the Phoenix Coyotes and the Phoenix AHL affiliate, which used to be the San Antonio Rampage. Are they still around? No, I don't think so anymore. During the 2010-2011 season, Mougenel was named the head coach of the ECHL All-Stars in the 2011 All-Star Game. Mougenel became an assistant coach for the Hershey Bears AHL affiliate, Washington Capitals, July 5th, 2013, and filled in as the head coach for one game on January 26, 2014, while the head coach was ill. Then he went to the Worcester Sharks, hopefully I said that right, in 2014 on July 29th. He left the Bears to become the assistant head coach for them, the AHL affiliate of the San Jose Sharks. Sharks later relocated their AHL franchise to San Jose starting in 2015-2016. Mougenel joined the Providence Bruins AHL affiliate of the Boston Bruins as assistant head coach and then was promoted to the head coach starting in 2021-2022. During the 2025-2026 season, Mougenel was named the head coach of the AHL Atlantic All-Stars for the 2026 AHL All-Star Game for guiding the club to the best record in the Eastern Conference as of the predetermined deadline. And the end of play of January 11th, 49 points. Whoa! Sorry. A 790 points percentage? Jesus. Mougenel was later voted recipient of the Louis A.R. Pierre Memorial Award as the AHL's standing head coach 2025-2026 season. Rampage folded. Now the Henderson Silver Knights. Good to know. Yeah, I remember the San Antonio Rampage. Now they're Henderson with those ugly buckets. Oh my God. The buckets on the Henderson Silver Knights are ugly. I don't know why I think that though. Oh yeah, they're the Silver Domes. That's probably why. Mougenel guided Providence to a record of 54, 16-2-0, good for 110 points and fourth highest point percentage in AHL history. Damn, while capturing the McGregor Kilpatrick Trophy as AHL regular season champions. And now he is the assistant coach. Read the personal story in the personal section. Oh yeah. Oh wow. On July 12, 2012, Mougenel jumped over the Boston Harbor to rescue a man who was drowning in the harbor and helped bring the man to dry land. The unknown victim was rushed to Massachusetts Hospital. Culture. There's a little bit of culture sprinkled in there. You know, they're talking all about culture. A lot of people are tired about them talking about culture. He jumped into the Boston Harbor to rescue a man's life. That doesn't tell you how good of a person he is. And then if this doesn't tell you how good of a coach he can be, oh my God, I'm pretty excited about this guy. I like that. I'm pretty sure I heard about this. This was the hire that we kind of heard about a little bit earlier. Moujanel, as they say. Very, very, very good season with Providence as the head coach. We'll see what he can do under Manny Malhotra. I think he'll be a great guiding hand when it comes down to it. I mean, cheaper. A cheaper thing, which a lot of people are kind of worried about, but we'll get into that in a bit when it comes down to it, because they're all non-repeat hires in terms of the NHL. A lot of new faces brought in new roles that they haven't been in. And it's going to be a little bit cheaper when it comes down to it, and it could say something about how ownership is treating the budget when it comes to the hires of front office work, which makes sense when you're paying Rutherford some of Adam Foote and some of Patrick Alvin's salaries out still. I mean, Adam Foote signed a 3-year deal, so we're still paying him out for 2 years. But on a discounted rate now that he's signed in Utah. Next up, Jason Krog. Now, we don't really have much on a coach. I couldn't really find anything on him as a coach, but I want to go through his long career in hockey, and he played some NHL games, but he did a lot of stuff in the AHL, and it was truly, we could go through this as well. Oh, Simon Fraser University. His total stats. I just want to look at his total stats in the NHL. 59 points in 202 games played. 22 goals, 37 assists throughout 7 years in the NHL. But he is more known for his AHL stats. Let's see his complete AHL stats before we get over and go through year by year. 590 points in 535 games, 190 goals, 408 assists in 9 years in the AHL. So he started off his career with the Creston Valley Thunder in the RMJHL in 92-93, where he put up 57 points in 52 games, 30 of them goals. Then he moved over to the Chilliwack Chiefs, who are still a team in the BCHL, then known as the BCJHL. 55 points in 42 games. Chilliwack Chiefs, also the former team of our first round pick this year, Caleb Malhotra, also the former team of the Calgary Flames rookie who made his debut this season from my hometown, Abram Weeb. I'm always going to shout out Abram Weeb every chance I get, because I did power skating with him, and he was insanely better than me at hockey. He then went on to put up 128 points in 60 games, 47 goals, 81 assists with the Chilliwack Chiefs. And then he went over to the University of New Hampshire, where he played in the NCAA from 95 to 99. He put up 20 points in 34 games in his first year, 67 points in 39 games, and then 66 points in 38 games, and then finished his collegiate career off with 85 points in 41 games, 34 of them goals, 51 assists. And then he would join the New York Islanders in the NHL, where he would play in different levels of the league. He would play 17 games with the Islanders, 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. Didn't he leave the Manitoba Moose to the Calder Cup final? I think that's the Wolves. Or maybe the Moose too. Yeah. Oh, he might have done both. We'll get to it. In 2009. Yeah. So yeah, you're probably right about that. And then yeah, we'll check out those teams as well. He went over to the Lockwell Monsters of the AHL, which I'm assuming are the AHL affiliate for the Islanders, which is now the Hamilton Hammers, who play a couple of games in the Abbotsford Center. I'm not calling it the Rogers Forum. 27 points in 45 games, 6 goals, 21 assists. He also played with the Providence Bruins, 17 points in 11 games. He ended their season there, 6 games played, 4 points. Then he went and played up for the Islanders a little bit as well, 9 games, 3 points. Lockwell Monsters did a little bit better with them, 27 points in 26 games. And then the Springfield Falcons, 30 points in 24 games. Played another 2 games with the Islanders, didn't get a point. Then he played 62 points. Man, Canucks had the Moose until 2011 when they switched to the Chicago Wolves. Yes, and he also played with the Chicago Wolves before that too, which is pretty funny to be noted as well. So this was was this Vancouver affiliate AHL Wolves, maybe? Captain? We'll see. Where were we? Bridgeport. They moved to the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. They weren't the Bridgeport Islanders yet. 62 points, 64 games. He played with the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, which is the most he played Second most games he's played in NHL in a single season, 67. Hopefully I'm right about that because I'm going to go down, and if I see that I'm wrong, no, we're good. 25 points in 67 games. The Canucks really aren't that relevant, to be honest. Okay, that's your opinion. Cincinnati Mighty Ducks. Oh, that's cool that they named the AHL team the Mighty Ducks. 7 points, 9 games played. And then the Mighty Ducks, they had 18 points in 80 games. Slower year when it came down to it, when he played more games. Then it was the lockout years. And then he had a great year with the Chicago Wolves under the Atlanta Thrashers. 19 points in 15 playoff games. And then he had an insane year, 112 points in 80 games with the Chicago Wolves, and then put up 38 points in 24 games. We're going to click on the Chicago Wolves team just to check, did they win the championship that year? If we're able to check as well. And then we're also going to look through to see if we can find a name. Brian Little. I wonder if that's who I think it is. It is. It's not actually an opinion. Well, it is an opinion. Because it's up to you to think what their relevancy is, because relevancy can't be measured. So, there you go. Let's see. Anybody else? No. Does it say if they won the championship at all? You don't have to be polite. You can state your opinion. I'm not saying to don't. I'm not saying that you're being rude. Just trying to see if this team won a championship. Finals loss. Champions in 2007, 2008. Looks like it. Yes, they won the championship. And then the Manitoba Moose, as Irvin pointed out, won the championship with them as well. A very illustrious AHL career. An AHL legend, to be honest. He joins the Vancouver Canucks coaching staff, so we'll see if we can bring the scoring expertise when it comes to the AHL to it. I don't know. I just want to go through that. It seemed like a fun thing. Probably was a little bit boring. I do apologize. So, yeah. That's really about it when it comes down to it. Without further ado, since that was kind of short, let's get some people in to chat up about the coaching hires. We'll set up a Zoom meeting, get everyone in, and we'll have some fun talking about it. And yeah, without further ado, let's, on a geographical level, they are very, very relevant here in BC. Yes. I'd hope so. Zoom Workplace. Let's get this all set up. Hopefully I'm able to do it faster than I did last time. I'll get it all set up, and I think I'm going to go take a little break. No, I'm not going to. I think I have to go to the washroom. That's why I'll take a little break. That webcam. Close. Boom. All right. Get it all set up. Copy this code. All right. I'll take a little break, and then we'll come back and we'll do an open house. And we'll chat about the coaching hires and Sportsnet 650. So, shutting down. So, yeah, we'll get into that in a second. I also haven't made a new taking a small break thing. So, it's still creators for BC Children's Hospital. All right, apologies, I forgot to unmute. In the chat is the link for the Zoom link. If you guys want to join, we'll do an open house. Yes, no, you didn't lose the sound. It was all me. I muted to go back, and I just forgot to click it when I came back. The Zoom meeting is in the chat for you guys who want to join and talk about all the things that we're talking about here. Yeah. So yeah, if you guys want to hop in, I don't know if I have a waiting room set up. Might be an auto join. Host tools. Enable waiting room. There we go. I just want to do that real quick. Link is in the chat if you're wanting to join. While we're at it, actually, I'm waiting for this to fill up a little bit, I just do want to do one quick thing. I want to say thank you very much for 500 subscribers, because I don't know if I've said it yet. We're at 536 right now. We've hit 500. Thank you all very, very much for that. I never thought I'd hit 500 subscribers, honestly. I've said it many times. I thought I would start this, only do it for a little bit, and then quit. So that's a lot of things. That's how I do a lot of things. You guys have really kept me going. It's truly, truly, truly appreciative. And then another thank you as well. After I blow my nose. Back. After I blow my nose. Quick thank you. Almost. I don't know if it has hit. We'll do a quick look right now. Back-to-back non-franchise mode videos. Mainly just talking about real-life Canucks. 1,000 views. I don't think I've had back-to-back videos talking about the Canucks hit 1,000 views. So thank you so much. One's almost at 2,000. We just hit 1,000 on the video about the... Forgetting what the video was even about. Oh, the way too early lineup predictions. Without further ado, let's get into the Zoom call here. Oh my god, did I figure it out? Just me gaming. Oh my god. Apologies, guys. Turn this camera off. We'll admit Swervin' Irvin into the chat. Swervin'. How's it going, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm having fun. What about you?
Chilling.
Chilling?
It's my Friday.
Yeah.
I'm glad you played California.
Yeah.
Needed that.
Yes. I listened to what I did at work today was I waited till like 8:35ish, and I threw on the last Friday What We Learned, so I can listen to California again and also get some What We Learned that I already listened to. But it was nice to go through. So start off. What are your thoughts on Sportsnet 650 getting? What are your thoughts on Sportsnet 650 getting canned by Rogers? Oh, you're muted. Apologies. There you go.
Hello?
We're all good here.
Check,
Yep.
check. On a personal level, it's sad because for me, it's part of the rhythm of my week
Mhm.
and my day. I'm like you. It's something you put on in the background while you're working,
Yeah.
especially having AirPods, and you know that when Sarahville is on, it's Wednesday. When Drance is on, it's Thursday, and when
Dolly's,
Dolly's
yeah.
on, it's Friday.
Mhm.
And for me, working like Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. If that What We Learned song came on, and I wasn't done a certain amount of things on my prep day, I knew I was behind. So,
Mhm.
yeah, and those guys get a lot of flack for being kind of like the zoo crew
Mhm.
of sports radio, but they were smart and funny.
Mhm.
And you got to be smart to be funny.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of consumption of that show, and as well as Canucks talk, as you said,
Mhm.
with Drance and Jamie Dodd. Yeah, Drance is a guy who got a lot of flack in this market because of just the way he thinks, and it's a sort of a what I would call a progressive way of thinking in terms of hockey opinions. but he is a smart guy
Uh-huh.
if you really listen to what he's saying. I've always said this, that in Canucks media, there's something for everybody.
Uh-huh.
And you mentioned like Donnie and Dolly, they're more for the that generation
Uh-huh.
of that which they came from.
Yeah.
Um, and you can hear it in a lot of the takes they have. And
Uh-huh.
there's a big swath of difference when you listen to Canucks conversation, which are
Yeah.
Gen Z guys.
Uh-huh.
So more is always better. And you even heard it when TSN 1040 went down. The 650 guys were like, "This is a sad day for
Uh-huh.
the city." I yeah, I don't know why. I get from a financial standpoint why they shut it down, but as far as um, the teams that they are um, essentially giving free marketing to, I guarantee you the owners, like the Canadian teams that are represented on these stations that are talked about, they don't want this.
Uh-huh.
You know, and we were talking about this last night on Headspace Hockey, that essentially what we're doing is the same thing with much less experience,
Uh-huh.
and with much way less access to the stories,
Uh-huh.
especially with guys like, I know Dolly is not on Sportsnet 650, but he's a guy who's so connected.
Yeah.
He's constantly texting
Uh-huh.
agents and GMs. Yeah, it's all that to say is it was upsetting for me to find out that it was shut down.
Yeah. Do you it's a conspiracy that's being thrown around. I kind of do believe it a little bit. That do you think that they prioritized the Toronto market when it came down to it, and after buying the last bit of stock in MLSE, which means they completely own the Toronto Maple Leafs franchise, they really wanted to center their focus on their current market that they own.
Well, I mean, as that kid in the chat said, that, I mean, the Canucks aren't really too relevant right now.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it helped a
No.
whole heck of a lot that the Canucks were doing the shits. But I don't think you could say the same thing about the Flames. And even with the tanking,
Yeah.
they're still turning a profit.
Oh yeah.
And maybe not on the ice they were super relevant. Yeah. But in terms of in the zeitgeist, absolutely they were.
Yeah.
I see it all around town, people wearing merch, and it's always in this city. It's top of mind because we don't have other professional leagues, right?
Uh-huh.
You cannot count Vancouver Canadians and BC Lions
No.
in that regard because they're not at the pinnacle of their sport.
No. I'd say the
But
Whitecaps are getting up there now, especially with the story.
yeah, you could argue that because a top tier player in Messi has come to town to
Uh-huh.
visit. But we had that in basketball,
Yeah.
and it was gone. And so now, really, the only true ticket in town is the Canucks. They just didn't do their part in terms of getting results.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what you're saying about Eastern bias, I don't know about the MLSE thing, but there definitely is that. If you've ever talked to anybody from back in Ontario,
Uh-huh.
they do think that the Maple Leafs are more important around the entire Canada than the Canucks would be locally here.
Uh-huh.
There is that thought.
I don't think so. No. Yeah. Well,
for them there is.
yeah, well, like I understand the bias of you living in the space of your team, and you're consuming a lot of stuff from your team, because that's where you're based. So you think that you're a lot more relevant than you are. Like, my thing with this is Vancouver is such a huge market, not only just in hockey, but just in how big the city is. It's a huge city. It's like Toronto and Vancouver are top two. And the fact that they're getting pulled and treated like a lower market, like a Quebec or like a Winnipeg, no offense to Winnipeg, it's truly like just perplexing that a market as big as Vancouver is getting treated in a smaller way, even if the team's going through a rebuild, because there's been so much talk, even with the team going through a rebuild, because there's so much stuff to talk about. There's a lot of interesting stuff. There's a lot of question marks, and question marks always leads to good stories and good things to talk about. So it's not like there's a lack of things to talk about with Vancouver.
It's gonna take some real um, local backing
Uh,
to get that sort of thing back to where it was.
yeah,
I was really curious when it happened because, you know, when we saw the downfall of 1040, Sekeres and Price just went completely digital,
yeah,
and I'm just curious as to how they do it because they've got to have a bottom line, right? Obviously, they're not doing it for YouTube ad revenue or the odd super chat.
uh-huh,
Um, they're selling sponsors,
uh-huh.
so if it's a viable thing, I think the those other guys have an audience that will follow them, and if they can make it financially viable for them, I think that there's a lot of the personalities can pull it off.
Yeah.
That's the big if though.
Uh-huh. Um, all right. Moving on from that story, because there's limited things to really talk about with that story. It's kind of like a front and center kind of thing. I don't really know much about AHL coaches and the coaching hires when it comes down to it, but if you do know anything,
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so um, just the same as you,
yeah,
I'm not
okay,
too keen on those. But Jason Krog was a name that came up, and not that I'm a huge Jason Krog fan, but
hmm,
he's right in my wheelhouse of when I started following the Canucks like
yeah,
hardcore. And he came in because when Mike Gillis took over at the end of 2008 from Dave Nonis, um, I think he knew what he was up against with the owner and how he is about you know penny
rebuilding.
pinching,
Oh yeah,
penny
yeah.
pinch,
Sorry,
and so he
that
went full
too.
money. Well, he went full Moneyball
Yeah.
because we weren't really a destination. So after his first move, which was making that huge offer to Matt Sundin, and not getting any takers in that regard, his big free agents were Pavel Dimitra, Steve Bernier, so kind of middling guys,
Hmm.
one Asian guy, one middling guy, and then you had Jason Krog and Kyle Wellwood.
Hmm.
And when camp rolled around, that was kind of like a roster battle. That was kind of edged out by Kyle Wellwood. I remember when we signed the contract for Jason Krog, the province had this big front page saying Mike Gillis has signed a scoring champion, and then
Hmm.
in little writing it said in the AHL.
Yeah. Well, that's always how they get the headline. I love those headlines too. It's always in the off season too, where they'll have like this big thing in the AHL. It's really funny.
We were kind of a piecemeal team because we had just had the exit of Naslund and Trevor Linden and Brendan Morrison in that season,
Hmm.
and so Sedins were kind of on the come up, in Kessler and Burrows too, but everyone else was kind of unknown. We had a lot of depth guys that you would never remember the name, but for some reason, in my mind, they stuck out.
Hmm.
Like I don't know if you remember the name Ozzy Vananen.
No, for me, it would be Byron Bitts would be
Okay.
one of them. Um, I'm trying to think. Like Dale Weiss is, I feel like too known for that, but he's a bit of a depth guy.
Ronald Kennens, is that one of
Yes, Ronald
your
Kennens.
deep cuts?
Yes, Joseph Lebate would be one if he didn't sign this year. He was actually, it was funny enough, he was on the team when I had my Make a Wish, like the year that I had my Make a Wish was
Okay.
2016-17. Joseph Lebate was on the Vancouver Canucks that year.
Okay.
And he
Interesting.
and he played the game that I went to, like for like they brought me out for practice and then they brought me out for a game. He was in that game against the Dallas Stars um in April. Um but yeah, what else? I'm trying to think of another one. There was another guy on the Moose at the same time as Bits. Oh, let me get it on the other
Sure.
monitor.
I just remember Byron Bitts having that hot week, and he got the ride shotgun with the Sedins.
Yeah.
And then there was people had this crazy thought that, hey, maybe we could just keep him and trade Burrows for a haul,
Yeah.
and then we'll win the cup for sure.
I do remember that. Here, let me click. He only played I thought he played for the Moose. He never played for the Moose?
I don't remember. I just remember him showing. I think he might have came from Boston, but
Boston, but Florida before that. Or,
okay.
sorry, Boston before, but Florida is where he came from. That's what I meant to say. Let's see if I can find it. Bill Sweat. There's another
Yep,
one. That's
and
like,
his brother Lee Sweat,
yeah. Anton Rodin, I remember as well.
the one shift wonder.
Yeah, Kevin Connaughton.
Who fun fact, he was a he was a Vancouver Giant, thought really highly of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Was not as good as he thought he was, and then he ended up getting traded for Derek Roy.
Mm-hmm.
Bounced around the league, and now he's trying to become a referee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I just noticed this too. That um, Chicago Wolves team, Anton Roussel was on
Oh,
that team.
fun.
Let's see if there's another one. Victor Orskevich. That's kind of like
Y-
out of it a little bit for me. I didn't really know about him too much.
If you know what's fun is if you go to Jason Krog's Hockey DB, and I think it's his 2012 and 2013 year when he's in Europe, just check out some of the teammates that he had.
Jason Hockey DB.
Yes. I think there's some Canucks on there, but the one that sticks out in for me is he's teammates with a very young William Karlsson.
So that'd be with Frolunda, right?
HV71.
Oh. Oh, yes.
So we got
Yes.
Jesper Fast, who played for Rangers, and you got
Yes. Carolina as well.
Oscar Fantenberg, who spent a bit of a season with the Canucks
Mm-hmm.
in the COVID year. Yeah, I nerd out on this stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not
It's
gonna lie.
really fun to see, like some of
Six,
that, just like the random.
six degrees of separation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, William Karlsson, the second year there.
Yeah.
William Karlsson, Fantenberg. Trying to see if there's anyone else I know. Not really. No. Yeah, that's really great. And then William Karlsson now, older, playing for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, it's just weird how those things work out sometimes where you have like AHL legend, you go look and he's like teammates with this random NHLer that um did really really good. Are you a little I don't want to say worried about the penny pitching because we've known about the penny pitching with a while when it comes to it. Are you worried about the lack of NHL experience when it comes to this coaching staff? With how it went last year with a severe lack of NHL experience with the guys that we hired.
Well, there's always two complaints with any coaching hire. It's oh, this guy's no experience, or oh, this guy's a retread.
Yeah.
So it's either one or the other.
Which factor do you kind of lean more into? Like, are you more just like sit back and wait on both sides, or do you lean a certain way when it comes to where you want your coaching hires to come from?
I think this situation is a bit unique
Yeah.
because to me, Manny's he was always the guy.
Mm-hmm.
He he's smart and and he's a good guy. Um, he's in incredible shape now,
Yeah.
even now.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard the stories about him getting on the ice and like he still does like line rushes
Yeah.
at his practices.
Mm-hmm.
He like works up a sweat. And if you have a guy like that behind the bench, how can you not listen to him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just very like my experience with him is very very nice guy, good character guy, and then the videos you see of him in the dressing room, especially right after they won the Calder Cup, a very good motivator. I would believe, and Abby went through a tough season last year, and I think some of the guys that he's going to be working with, other than um, Mougenel, I think that's how you say it. I forget. Um, Krog and the other guy, Smith, they were Abbey coaches. I'm pretty sure they were coaches under him in the Abbey Canucks system. Same with the video coach that moved up, who's now assistant to the video coach. But
Right, right.
um, so he's bringing up the guys that, and a lot of people want to complain about them being new guys. Look what they did 2 years ago with the Calder Cup run and going all the way. He's bringing in the group that he trusts and that he's won with, and he wants to see what he can do in the NHL. Obviously, he's not going to try to win right away. Hopefully, obviously, a coach's job to win, the player's job is to go out there and win. But um, he's going to just try to get the best out of the players that he can, and that's what you want to do when you're winning, and that's what you want to do when you're rebuilding. And it seems like he can do that, especially with the Calder Cup run. That's what my opinion is. It's just if it's bringing guys up that he's familiar with and that he knows he can coach with that fit his style, what's the point? Even if they're not retreads, they don't have NHL experience. Um, they're gonna work
Yeah, yeah.
good
I
together.
I want to have faith. I don't have any control of it, so
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of one of those things that you have to just go with and have faith in.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing as like when they drafted Caleb. Like it's not who I wanted,
Yeah.
but it's who we got. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm always going to be Team Canucks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think the general vibe I get is that we're in good hands, and these are well-spoken guys at the very least.
Yeah.
You know, it's better than what we had last season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as far as the retread thing, like the NHL's crazy.
Yeah.
Like what other career could you go to the tippy top of that industry and then just blow it every other season and then still get hired
Yeah.
in
Just
other
bounce
places?
around. Yeah.
Like imagine if you were in a job where it's like, okay, we're gonna put you in charge of a multi-million-dollar business, and then you have to go to your boss and say, well, in the highest selling season, we blew it again. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Give me another chance, please.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of crazy how it's just like you can not do great in the NHL. You can, you're hired elsewhere. It's especially crazy that you could do some things that maybe aren't too great, Mike Babcock, and still get hired elsewhere, and just the investigation is just kind of thrown to the wayside. I feel like I don't know if they really did a true investigation. I don't
Yeah,
really
I
want to get into
it,
Oilers
it's all
talk, but it's
it's all just kind of in who you know.
yeah,
Um, so hopefully these guys have enough friends in the league. Um, yeah, that was a big thing with Mike Gillis is that he had his old agent was a guy named Alan Eagleson,
uh-huh.
who's kind of like a really well-connected guy, and but then Alan Eagleson, I think, committed some sort of like wire fraud or like
Oh
stole
yeah,
from him, and he sued him. I think he actually went to jail. Um, but obviously Alan Eagleson had friends, and so that kind of put a knock on him a little bit. And then when Mike Gillis became a player agent, he played a little bit of hardball with Brian Burke.
uh-huh.
I think he was Burry's agent at the time,
Uh-huh.
and so Brian Burke again is a pretty well connected guy. So if you make enemies out of him, you're kind of making enemies out of all of his friends too.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's a different case with the new regime.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if I've gotten. I think I got your. Yeah, I think the Ryan Johnson was hired before the charity stream, right? So
We just gotten um the whole the
yeah.
whole hire thing
Okay, so
because it
we
was the GMs and the
we got
co-presidents.
that. I haven't had you on since then, so I'm just trying to remember what I haven't got your opinion of, so I can ask you as well. The draft. You said it in the chat, but it's now your time to say it on video. Go through. I'd say the first four picks because for me, after that, it kind of falls off a little bit with my knowledge of those guys. But what are your thoughts on the first four picks, the two picks in the first round and the two picks in the second round for the Vancouver Canucks, starting with obviously number 24, number three.
Number three, Caleb. I think he's um he's a smart kid.
Uh-huh.
He looked a lot bigger than I thought he was going to be
Mm-hmm.
when I saw him at Dev Camp. Um, and by all accounts, he's got a good head on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
They said that he showed up at camp and he was very quiet, which sounds like a bad thing, but it means that he's listening, which is exactly how the Sedins were
Mm-hmm.
when they first showed up in the NHL. Um, I think there's still a lot of development for him to go,
Uh-huh.
and that might be a knock on him. And because there's others in the draft who are pretty much NHL ready guys like Stenberg, which we obviously weren't going to get, but
Mm.
people said the same thing about Albert Smits.
Yeah.
Um, I think that it was a pick 'em from picks 3 to 9,
Yeah.
and whichever guy you just really wanted, that's the guy. That's the guy who went. Like, who would have ever thought that Daxton Rudolph and Albert Smits would go 4 and 5?
I kind
But
of thought Smits would go 5 because I thought the Rangers would try to get a more NHL ready player, and Smits was probably the best option after Stenberg and McKenna. But that one was kind of just like, oh, there's a little bit of reasoning there because I think the Rangers are dumb. But the Rudolph one, that was insane at 4. I did not expect that.
yeah, in the end, it's who they wanted.
Yeah.
And then for the 24 pick, Novotny's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I think he's got his pretty good seals package.
Uh-huh.
He's always going to be intriguing for me because his connection to the Quinn Hughes trade.
Uh-huh.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I've got a lot of faith in him. Rogowski, I think is a wild card.
Yeah.
I think you can romanticize his physical size a
Yes.
little bit, but you just really never know if that's going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, Aaron Molson, again, it looks really exciting.
Yeah.
I try not to put too much stock into the highlights though,
Yeah.
because they're condensed and they can
Yeah.
make any player look good.
I was mainly just trying to point out a shot because it's no matter what you find the situation, like even at Dev Camp, that clip I showed, that's what a shot was every time. Just on the stick, and it's just like, and it's somehow,
Off right away, right?
yeah, and the thing that I liked like about it was when it would go off like a blocker or like a pad, it would bounce to like the other end of the rink. So it like shows that it's a quick release, but it's got a ton of power on it. Which is really nice. If you go back to Nothing Is Perfect stream when Aaron Bolson's on the ice, you'll find me going like, "Look at the shot!" every time he's skating around.
Yeah, the thing about that is I was more or less just kind of hanging out with you guys
Mhm.
and trying to hit refresh on
Yeah.
see what's going on with all the agents.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember the Marcus Pedersen trade was like breaking live while we
Mhm.
were all chatting, and I was
Yeah.
chatting with Kempner as well.
Yeah, I remember trying to find all like I was sitting there, I was being the guy trying to find stuff too on the live, and I was like trying to find the package, and then ended up leaving a little bit early because I had a dinner to go to with the family, and we're driving on the way back, and the news drops on the drive, and I'm like, they couldn't have done this like a little bit, like 10 minutes, not even 5 minutes earlier. Um, so yeah, oh yeah, another thing that we haven't gotten your opinion on. There you go. Thanks for bringing it up. Free agency. Let's go before we get to the signings. Let's go with what we were talking about right now. What are your thoughts on the Marcus Pedersen deal?
Isn't it funny that we got a pick back for JT Miller,
Uh,
and then we sent it to Pittsburgh for Marcus Pedersen,
uh,
and then we sent Marcus Pedersen to the Rangers
uh,
for a pick in 2030, and the 2030 season is largely going to be dictated by the play of a UFA season for JT Miller.
uh. Yeah, it is pretty funny.
So yeah, it shows a lot of patience.
Uh,
Because who knows if Ryan Johnson and the Sedins will even have a job by
yeah.
2030. God willing, I hope they do.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those things that we could still build organically till then, and then if that pick ends up being a top 10, it's going to be like rocket fuel for
Oh yeah.
the rebuild.
Yeah. If the hopefully, I mean, hopefully we somehow get RJ out of it. I mean, it would be kind of hard because I think it's top 10 protected in 2030, and that's his draft.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He'd have to fall off the boards. But
Celebrini,
yeah.
or just Celebrini. Yeah.
But I don't mind if it goes top 10 and then it drops to 2031, and then you have a better chance of possibly getting a higher pick as well. I think it's smart, and I think that it's very much preaches the patience that they are showing, and to get a pick that's outside of their timeline in terms of their current contracts just shows the commitment they have to wanting to push through this rebuild. And it also could be used as a trade piece later on if needed at the end of the rebuild.
I'm gonna have to be going and checking out the brick novice tournament
Mm-hmm.
to find out what the 2030 draft is all about
Yeah,
because I don't think you can find any highlights of any of those kids yet.
yeah, the Brick International. Yeah, usually the top players in the Brick International become like really, really good NHL players. Remember Durant's going off about that on Canucks Talk.
Have you ever went through their YouTube?
No, I haven't.
So they'll show you clips where it's like 10-year-old clips. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking when these guys were 10 years old
Yeah.
of like players now, like
Mm-hmm.
Danny Heatley, Jonathan Toews, Bo Horvat's got one in there,
Mm-hmm.
Connor Bedard's got one in there. Like anybody who's anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Brick always produces top top tier talent. Alexis Joseph was in the Brick tournament. Who's
Okay.
that's one of the
Interesting.
guys that I was wanting hopefully to get next year in the top three. Whether we fall last and we end up getting third, or we get the first pick and maybe he I don't know, somehow surpasses Landon Dupont, or he's second overall. Now let's head into the signings. We'll go in order of the signings. What's your first thought on Paul Cotter?
Um, he's just a guy.
Yeah.
I think he'll be serviceable enough
Uh-huh.
that you can kind of plug and play him in anywhere in the lineup. Um, that's that's all I really know of him. I've never seen
Uh-huh.
any of these so-called Paul Cotter
Yeah.
highlights, but I've heard the name before.
Uh-huh.
So I just think he's just one of those guys who's gonna help them, um, tread water.
Yeah.
I don't because I don't think they're trying to win
No.
in particular
Yeah.
next year, but I don't think they want to be losers either,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
He's a bit of a protective guy, but not really when it comes to fighting. He throws a lot of hits, so he's gonna be punishing for the other team. Another thing that intrigues me about him is his shooting percentage has been very high the last few seasons. If we get him to either like shoot more or try to capitalize on more opportunities or give him more opportunities, could be some offensive glow up. But you never know. You're not gonna hit Kiefer Sherwood's every time you sign a guy like who's going to throw hits and be high energy, but you never know. It could happen. The shooting percentage does leave something intriguing, but I think third round pick at the end of the day when it comes to it at the end of the deadline. I wish it was a 2 year deal like Sherwood's, where you could have that first season to see how it goes, and then the second season you kind of just go off of like what happened in the first season, or maybe he takes a step, but you never know. It's just 1 year though, so we have until March to hopefully see how he does. Um, Next up, another guy who I don't know if we only have till March. I'm pretty sure. No, I think he signed a 1 year deal. Luke Shen was the next signing. What's your thoughts on Shenner being back?
Well, I mean, obviously this is a guy that, again, is not going to help you in a lot of games, but you absolutely want him around your young guys,
Uh-huh.
and he said a lot of this in his uh, media availabilities that he's been on good teams and bad teams, and he knows what it's like to play in Canada and be a top draft pick.
Uh-huh.
He also knows what it's like to fight his way out of the AHL and back into the NHL.
Uh-huh.
So he's kind of done it all. And this is a player. Obviously, he loves BC.
Uh-huh.
I hope that if he retires, that he's immediately hired and into player development.
Yeah, yeah, that's a guy. He's just like I think it was an interview with was it Canucks Talk when after he signed in free agency, just how much he talked about how much he loved BC and how much Vancouver really truly meant for him because it helped him rejuvenate his NHL career when he came through. He played in Utica. I think it was 2017-2018 season when he came through, and Ryan Johnson was the he ran Utica then, so that's another connection to bring in. So I'm assuming hiring Ryan Johnson as the GM helped bring Shen in to the Vancouver Canucks. The next one,
Sorry,
uh,
real quick,
uh
the Ryan Johnson connection is a good lesson to be nice to people on the way down because you never know when they're going to be on their way up.
yep, exactly.
And
Um, the next signing, I think we'll go with the NHL signing here. We talked about the trade. Now we're replacing Marcus Pettersson for $500,000 less and a lot less years. I'm not sure the exact. It might be 3 or 4. Jamie Alexiak, 2 years, $5 million. What's your thought on that deal?
He's gonna hit. He's gonna hit. He's gonna hit.
Yeah.
I think that's really why they're bringing him in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually was hoping that they were gonna go for Zach Bogosian.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on that train because I know of the connection with him and Steve William,
Yeah.
both being American guys,
Mm-hmm.
and um, they had a very close relationship, and that's why actually Steve William wears the number 24.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, obviously he ended up extending with Minnesota, and
Mm-hmm.
so um, Jimmy Laxiak is a pretty good comparable, big guy, bruising, um, and again, it's one of those things that, like the other two we mentioned, I don't think he's going to help us win games, but I think it's going to make for a safer work environment for the
Mm-hmm.
young guys.
Yeah. Um, I want to, before we get into the more AHL signings, I wanted to ask you a question. So me and Gerald kind of came up with this on the live last time, and then I reiterated it in my roster lineup predictions. What are your thoughts on first pair, Alexiak, Hronik, second pair, Boyum, Shen, third pair, Vilander, DPD? Sheltering Boyum a little bit more 5-on-5, but Boyum would play power play 1. And also putting him with Shen so that he would
I
have
just
that
worry
connection
I
of.
just worry about Shen's foot speed.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, that would be the only thing. I thought about this today. I know that his career is kind of up in the air, and he's obviously not going to come to Vancouver
Uh-huh.
given his contract situation. But if Chris Tanev was
Yeah.
ever paired with Steve William,
Uh-huh.
and if you had that type of player,
Yeah.
um, because he was, if you remember when in Quinn Hughes' first year,
Mm-hmm.
Quinn Hughes hadn't arrived as the finished product that he was when he left Vancouver,
Uh-huh.
and in his first year, Tanev was that safety net for him,
Uh-huh.
so they could do all his freewheeling and dealing. Sorry,
Okay.
or so. So yeah, you know, Shen is more of a defensive defenseman,
Yeah.
but I really worry about the foot speed, which is something that um, Chris Tanev had.
Yeah. I agree with that one. Alexia could play the both. I don't know about Alexiak's foot speed when it comes to Shen's, but he could play both sides. But yet again, that kind of opens up what would you have to do? You'd move Vilander up, and you'd have to play Vilander on the right side, or you could bring Kirill Kudryavtsev up, so you have someone to play the left side. But then again, you're taking a Vilander or a DPD out of the lineup, and it probably being Vilander. So it's very tough to kind of position these guys in places like that. Do you think that Boyum just ends up playing on the top pair with Philip Hronik?
Um, Probably
Yeah.
because he's got that. He's one of our more dynamic defensemen. I do worry about what actually he is going to be as a finished product.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I I'm not as optimistic as everyone else is. Um, I think he's going to be a good defenseman for us, but
Uh-huh.
you have to think about how good he is going to be in the league.
Yeah.
Is he going to be a top 20 defenseman?
Uh-huh.
He's gonna take games over?
Uh-huh.
And if not, is he just gonna be like a power play specialist or just a second pair guy?
Uh-huh.
And how much is his next contract gonna cost?
Yeah. I think that there's low risk when it comes to signing Boyum to a long term extension early, as long as you put him in the positions to succeed, even if he doesn't reach his exact top potential. And as long as he's a solid power play performer and plays the second pair, he'll still hold enough value to where the contract will definitely be eatable when it comes to moving him, if the possibility of, if that ever opens up, or the avenue of moving Zeke Boyum to open up cap space or anything occurs. My thing with Zeke Boehm is it's going to be Quinn Hughes. He was traded for Quinn Hughes and he's the main piece. A lot of people are going to compare him to Quinn Hughes, which is just an unfair comparison.
So unfair.
So unfair. Could he possibly reach the heights of Quinn Hughes? Maybe. You can see it in flashes of his game last season where he had that one shift on the power play where he ended off getting an assist to Hoglander, I'm pretty sure, where he took that shift completely over. But he's not doing that consistently like Quinn Hughes would do. I think that he becomes like Quinn Hughes light, where he'll be a solid number one, but he's more of like your number two defenseman, like how a Philip Hronek would be. But he's also a good power play specialist. I think this is like realistic ceiling. And then obviously I think his floor is hopefully power play specialist, second pair guy, which would still hold a lot of value in the league, even on the left side.
Okay, so my battery's about to run out, so I'm gonna probably have to jet.
Sounds good.
But I'm gonna pose you one question.
Uh-huh.
Is Philip Hronek's worth more if we keep him or if we trade him?
I don't think that it will fall too much before his no movement ends, because he has 2 more years of a no movement. I think he'll still have decent value when he's 30 years old.
I think, isn't it one and then he goes to a 15-team no trade?
It's 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I think at 30 he'll still have, if not close enough value to where he'll still be, especially right-handed, still have a lot of value, but I'm not too entirely sure. I worry a little bit about him losing his value, but I'm not overall too concerned about it. What about you?
Um, I think about what he's going to be in 5 years,
Uh-huh.
and just with the prices for
Yeah.
defensemen are going for right now, and he's no lower than a number 2,
Yeah.
like with a bullet.
Uh-huh.
And so I just think if you could get a haul for him, like it's just gonna, it's gonna juice this rebuild.
Uh-huh. I think that my only thing that I'll say with the Philip Hronek stuff is that I understand people wanting to trade him, and I'm on that, but I want him traded. But if it's him holding it up, you don't want to burn the bridge. And you
That's true.
don't want to be the managers that come in and say, we don't care about your no movement clause that you signed with the last management. Burn that bridge, and immediately that could hurt signing when it comes to UFAs. So that's my only concern when it comes to a Philip Hronek trade. If he ever says yes, you pull that trigger,
Oh gosh.
and you get that haul, especially with the prices being paid for right-handed defensemen. I think a playoff team should look to try to get him as their number 3 if they can afford him, because having Hronek as your number 3 defenseman, you have 2 defensemen better than Philip Hronek. Your decore's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Irvin. It was great talking to you. Thanks for coming on the first live episode of the CanucksLand podcast. You're our second guest on the CanucksLand podcast. So I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to shout out before you go?
Watch Head States Hockey. It's Thursday evenings. We usually go for 10 o'clock, but sometimes we go 9:30.
Uh-huh.
And we love the interaction. We love the community. So yeah, check us out.
Alrighty. Thank you, Irvin. Have a good night.
All right, be well.
All right. It looks like we have another guest waiting for us. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. You love him. He's the guy who won't admit it, but definitely helped me in my YouTube career. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing is perfect. Russell Holiday, how's it going, my man? Welcome to the CanucksLand podcast. Your second appearance on the CanucksLand podcast.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Let's get right into it. Let's go with the first main topic of this podcast. What are your thoughts on Sportsnet 650 getting shut down by Rogers?
It's a real shame.
Yeah.
Lots of good people lost their jobs.
Mhm.
I think the biggest thing that everyone's been talking about online is just the immediacy that you can get from what you're getting from Sportsnet, right? Where when the news drops, they're live and they're ready to go. And we do our best to kind of capture that here when we're rocking out here on YouTube and all that. But it's that access that they get. They got people at the building, right?
Yeah.
Like And there's a couple, like, I mean, like Canucks Conversation always does a good job because they've
Mhm.
got reporters and all that. But for all the rest of us, like yourself, Canuck Play,
Mhm.
Captain Canucks, all these guys, it takes us a minute to get all the information because
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's the immediacy of it. And I mean, for me too, like I didn't listen live a lot of the time, but it was the podcasts that I really listened in on too.
Mhm.
So I think that's the thing that a lot of people are going to miss too, because, um, yeah, I mean that I was talking with one of my buddies at work today, and he was just talking about the fact that he wouldn't necessarily have time to listen to the whole podcast, but over the course of a day, you listen here, you listen there, and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
um, but I mean, like for me too, growing up, like I grew up listening to Dan Russell on CKNW.
Mhm.
I used to, I was like 12 years old. I'd call in. I'm like, Dan Russell, I'm coming for your job. My name's Russell, so I'm taking your job.
Mhm.
And so for me, like when Team 1040 started, it
Mhm.
was like, oh, this is awesome. I got sports talk, but it's like 24/7.
Mhm.
And so what has it been, like 30 years now that Vancouver's had sports radio, and this is the first time in 30 years that there has been sports radio too. So that's tough in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, like for me, I would listen. I get to work at 6 o'clock, so Halford and Bruff right in the morning, 6 o'clock to 9, and then when 9 o'clock hit, I knew that I was close to lunch. And then when I'd get off lunch, half an hour later, Canucks talk 12 to 2, and when that ended, time to go home. So it was nice for me. It was nice and uniform with my schedule, but it also great conversations, like especially Canucks talk for me, where I really like Thomas Drance's insight and Half and Breath was just a fun show to listen to, and it was great for all sports. Um, let's get into the Rogers side of things. Do you think that this has anything to do with them purchasing the last little bit of MLSC?
I think the signs are always on the wall, because when I worked in radio, I worked at a radio station called Talk 1410.
Uh-huh.
And pretty much we had a live morning show, and then we had an evening show,
Uh-huh.
and then we sometimes had an afternoon show. But there was also, so it was essentially the same thing that Sportsnet 650 had going. I worked on the morning show, I booked guests, I was called the associate producer,
Uh-huh.
and then on the evening show I was the technical producer, so I was actually pushing buttons and running it that way.
Uh-huh.
But we also, the majority of our programming outside of those three shows was all stuff that we purchased. So there was like, I don't know if you guys, anyone who's watching this will remember, there's like Dr. Brown and like Dr. Lara, and the probably the most famous one that we had was called Coast to Coast AM, which is all about like aliens and like uh you know lizard people living in the earth and stuff like that. It's
Uh-huh.
like one of the most famous like overnight radio shows of all time. So that
Uh-huh.
was like the big moneymaker for us.
Yeah.
But there, we didn't have a lot of viewership. Like there wasn't a lot of people. Like we were one of the worst rated radio stations, and the signs were on the wall because they kept on cutting back live content.
Uh-huh.
And the more live content they cut back, that means that they're not making enough money. And you could see that kind of writing on the wall with Sportsnet 650, and that
Uh-huh.
it used to be 6 a.m. until midnight they would have live content. And then so, but I mean, it's one of those things, like radio has been struggling to be relative for so long, but if you can't find a way to do it and make money off of it, then it is like anything else, it's a business.
Uh-huh.
And so it is what it is, right? Like if they weren't making a profit, then you can't just keep it open, because you need to have a sports talk radio station, right?
Uh-huh.
So I think they need to reevaluate it if someone else wants to pick it up, because obviously now there's a void in the market.
Uh-huh.
There are some other people who might want to jump in on that. But if you don't have the Canucks rights too,
Yeah.
that's kind of tough as well. So um, I don't think it's directly related to Rogers purchasing the rest of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't look good.
No.
I can see why people would make that connection.
Uh-huh.
But I think it just comes down, I don't think they were making enough money to fund everything, because you're talking about, you got two hosts, you got
Uh-huh.
two producers, you've
Yeah.
got all the technology that's behind it. The amount of technology that's jammed into a radio station is crazy.
Uh-huh.
It's not cheap. And I assume it's probably getting even more expensive now. Um, and then but I mean, the other aspect, I was talking with another friend at work today about this, where when it comes down to advertising too, when you look at Instagram, when you look at Facebook, you look at Twitter, you can go to these companies and say, I want to advertise to 18 to 35-year-old males. Boom. And it'll literally go right to them, right on their phone.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas with radio, it's always been, well, there is a certain market that they're trying to get to, but you can't guarantee that message is going to get to those people. And so I think that's where people have been putting their revenue for advertising into different forums, including like social medias. And so I think that was a big aspect for why their revenues were dropping off as well. So it's tough, but I think they got to find a new way to do it. I think it was what it comes down to. And then the other thing I heard a bunch of people talking about, like even AM radio, if you're driving through Vancouver and trying to listen to AM radio, there's like dead spots, right? There is random screeching, like it's not the best signal.
No.
And then anyone can just grab their cell phone and they can just watch literally Sportsnet Plus and have the game on their phone too, right? So there's so much more competition. So
yeah,
I think it's possible to make it work, but I think there are a lot of different talk radio stations now that are FM. So that might be the best route for someone to try and get their hands on rights to some FM signal and then try and do the same thing, but do it on FM. And then I think that might be your best alternative to what they were doing.
First of all, congratulations on hitting 2,400 subscribers. I saw that go up in the background live here on the CanucksLand podcast. But I wanted to say one thing. I do kind of agree with you. Like, as much as I want to get into the conspiracy theories of all that, I do think that I feel like they're just being truthful when it comes down to just straight revenue and how it is. For me, like, I think about it, like, it's way easier to run a music radio station than it comes to a sports talk radio station. Like you said, 2 hosts, 2 producers. You could probably have 1 producer, 1 DJ. He only has to talk like once every 5 minutes. You play 2 songs, DJ talks for like 30 seconds, and then boom, and you don't have to pay it. You could just have like 4 people throughout the whole thing, and so it's definitely probably cheaper. And I'm pretty sure that, I don't know if I heard this, it could be crazy talk, but I think AM radio signals are harder and more expensive to run than FM radio signals.
It's possible. Yeah. It's funny because AM tends to carry more. So it's funny. And if anyone still has an AM radio, you can actually tune into radio stations that are way further away because AM will actually bounce off part of, I don't know, I think it's the stratosphere. I don't remember. I learned this in radio school, but I've forgotten. But it'll actually bounce down. So you'll be able to listen to stuff. Like sometimes you can pick up radio stations from way down in the States or way in Alberta and stuff like that too on like a very clear night, and you're listening to a specific bandwidth that doesn't broadcast close to you. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And I mean, the amount of times that we had technical issues too, even when I was working, because I worked for this company that had TSN 1040 or Team 1040. It was Talk 1410, TSN 1040, so 2 AM stations, and then we had the Beat 94.5, and we had QMFM. So there was 4 radio stations all in the same building, and the amount of technology they had jammed in there, right? Like it was not a cheap operation. And then even just like straight up coming down to rent in Vancouver. Like, I never knew what they were paying, but I know when I ran a restaurant in Vancouver on Robinson Street, we we're paying $50,000 a month in rent.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah.
And that restaurant doesn't exist anymore because you can't pay that much rent with the amount of money they were making. So, yeah.
Sad day. To start the stream, I had to get my Friday Kelowna in, so I played it. And as a little homage to Halford and Bruff, man. It was like the last, was it 3 days? Tuesday, was it? That it went off the air. Fortunately, Tuesday. I hurt my knee in slow pitch, so I wasn't at work on Tuesday. But Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, man, it was just like, I have a good, I talk with my coworkers, so luckily I had distractions, but then you would think about it, and you're just like, oh my God, I miss the shows, man. Do you think that there's a good market for a lot of these? There's a good market on YouTube now for a lot of talk. I mean, obviously we are doing what we're doing. There's Canucks Conversation, Donnie and Dolly post on YouTube. I think Scares and Price do YouTube lives. So do you think that there's more marketability when it comes to YouTube, and that there's just a change in how things are being done now when it comes to sports talk.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at like the best example is obviously the two guys that like came right from TSN 1040, right? To Sakaris and Price.
Uh-huh.
Like they've been able to sustain their livelihood based on their YouTube channel,
Uh-huh.
and their podcasts and all that. And obviously they're sponsored and they're part. I think they're what is it, the Nation Network? I think they're a part of that or whatever. So
Yeah.
there's probably some funding too. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I know I heard, I think it was Josh Elliott Wolf was on Canucks Conversation the other day, and he was essentially saying like, yeah, I'm going to take some time off,
Uh-huh.
but expect to see us doing some other things. So
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Halford and Bruff would probably be better suited to doing a podcast
Uh-huh.
slash, right? One of my, one of the guys that I worked with in radio that was he worked at CFox for many, many years. His
Uh-huh.
name's Todd Hancock. He was the afternoon show host. He was a morning show host. He's been podcasting now for, I think he's been doing it for like 12 years or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Like he's been able to sustain himself just on his podcast. So if you
Yeah.
do it right, but I think going back to it, like the thing I miss now
Uh-huh.
is they announced, the new hirings today of all of Manny Malhotra's coaches that
Yeah.
are going to be working alongside him. And we don't get an interview with them until when? Like when are we going to get to hear from Jordan Smith and, Andrew
Yeah.
Shaw and all these guys, right? So, and who's going to be the ones picking it up? Because it would be, the default would be for them to go to their rights holder, which was Sportsnet 650. So
Uh-huh.
it's tough that we'll have to probably wait for their podcast episode from Chris Faber. So maybe the Canucks don't mind that very much either.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was thinking with the Rogers sponsoring the arenas that we weren't really gonna get too much back from the Canucks in terms of help.
Well, I mean, you saw, even the one conspiracy I will say is you saw both the Vancouver Giants and the BC Lions put out statements
Yeah.
about, hey, we're like, torn apart by this and we feel for everyone. Like the Canucks haven't put anything out,
Uh-huh.
but that they're literally, they're sponsored by Rogers. So of course they're not going to say anything bad about Rogers. Whereas the BC Lions have no affiliation with Rogers.
Yeah, I'm just checking the Vancouver Canadians, see if I can find their Instagram real quick, see if they posted anything. So I think they had the rights to them as well. I don't see anything. Could it be on their story? And I also could have missed it.
I know I think they were sponsored. Like, isn't Nat Bailey called like Rogers Field or something now?
Oh, maybe. Rogers Field at Nat Bailey Stadium.
Yep.
Ooh, there we go. I think we might be onto something. So speaking of the coaching hires, let's get into it. I went through it on stream because I don't really know the guys. I'm gonna be 100% honest when it comes to coaches that are in like more AHL roles. I don't know too much about them. Even assistant coaches in the NHL, I need to start learning a little bit. Do you know anything about a lot of these coaches that are hired, or are you in the same boat as me?
I've always tried to keep up to date with the coaching staff down there in Abbotsford. Over the last I'd say the last year, I've been focusing even more on it because I always just say Manny and his crew. But I know Jordan Smith was their defense guy down there, and so he will probably quite easily step in and take over the defense for this new team. Me and my co-host Dustin Boydell, we were chatting. We haven't heard anything, but we figure that Ryan. I don't want to butcher his name. Is this Muganel?
Me and Irvin. I think it's French. Mujanal. I think that's how. Mujanal. Yeah.
So he, I know as much as anyone who's read the stories about how he won the Coach of the Year in the AHL last year. So I think he's probably the fit to run the offense. And then Jason Krogh is stepping out from being he was a video coach and a development coach for the Abbey Canucks and the Vancouver Canucks. So we figure he'll probably take over the special teams because that's kind of how it ends up going. You got the offense, the defense, and then the special teams coach. And then Andrew Shaw is not, and then I found out it's not Andrew Shaw who you think it was who played for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
He had he did have a hockey career, but it was, I believe, just minor leagues and stuff like that. And he will be taking over as or joining the video coach team. So he will kind of be taking a step up as well, because I think he had some like ECHL and some KIJHL experience in coaching and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, Jordan Smith, if you take anything and you want to know anything about him, just look at the defense that have come out from Abbotsford, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Like
DPD.
Kudryavtsev and Minio and DP and even Mancini, who I know hasn't lived up to what I think a lot of people wanted him to, but now that he's back, now that he's going to be working under Jordan Smith again, you never know, right? So I think Jordan Smith is going to be really good for this team's defensive structure. And then Jason Krogh has been working hard, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. I had Sapster on my podcast a couple weeks ago, and he's a guy who comes from playing video games. Like, he was an professional NHL hockey player, or EA Sports NHL. And he learned a lot about the structure of hockey from playing video games. So for a guy like Jason Krogh, who is the development coach and a video coach, he spent so much time watching the game, right? Analyzing the game, breaking things down. So I think that's where the special teams will probably go really, really right up his alley. So I think it's a good next step for him too, right? The amount of time he spent as video coach and as development coach. I think it's a good next step for him to be essentially the junior assistant coach on this team. And then Ryan McGonigal, Mougenet.
I don't know. Hey, I got the French accent. I don't got
the
exactly.
Said, right?
Yes, right. We figured out Vilander because of the Canucks. So yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, the one thing I keep on hearing people talking about is, oh, he didn't develop the players in Boston's farm team, and it's like, no, I don't know if that's as true as everyone thinks it is, because they still had pretty much their best season ever this year, and the Bruins don't really have that many prospects that they have to develop, right? They've been trading them all away for the last little bit, so there hasn't been a lot for him to work with. So
it's really been like Fabian Lysell. It's been really about it for like top Bruins prospects. Funny, Irvin pointed this out. I do remember this being said. Minio came from the pick that we got from Shen in the trade back in 2023. He said, imagine they were a pair. That'd be pretty funny. I don't know if, we didn't get your opinion on the free agent signings and the trade that happened. Obviously, we were on a stream while that was all happening, but let's get it in a sit down a couple days later. It's been 9 days. What are your thoughts on the Vancouver Canucks free agency, starting with Paul Cotter?
Oh, good signing, right? A guy who signs a 1-year deal. It's a show me deal. Someone who has more offensive talent than I think he's been able to show. Big body, good foot speed. Apparently works really hard. So, and like I said, everything that they did, it was 1-year or 2-year deals. For everything that they've done so far. Every single deal was a 1-year or 2-year deal. And the majority, I think there was only 2-year deals, and the rest of them were 1-year deals, right? So for Cotter, show me how good you are. And either you end up becoming a piece moving forward, because what is he, 26, right?
Yeah, something like that. It's not too old.
Right. So if you can get him to another reasonable deal after this, or if the Canucks are not in a position to make a push for the playoffs, which I think all comes down to Demko's health, he's a trade chip that you can, retain and then trade him off for pieces. So you're creating assets out of nothing. So I like the Paul Cotter signing. He seems like he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. And that can be a really good thing to do. To have people who need to prove themselves to stay in the league.
I was the last one, but me and Irvin were talking about Kiefer Sherwood. And you talked about his potential offensive upside that could be unlocked. His shooting percentage. I mean, it was like 15-16% in the last 2 years, but he wasn't scoring a lot of goals. But just because he's not scored a lot of goals and he has a high shooting percentage, not taking a lot of shots. If we get him to maybe take more shots, or get him in positions where he can take more shots and hopefully be in a better advantageous situation to score on those shots, It could up his production, and you get a guy going from 7, 9 goals to 17 or whatever Kiefer Sherwood was at. Then the value ups to potentially 2 second round picks, right? I think right now we're probably sitting at around third round pick value at 50% retention. So we'll see. I wish it was a 2 year deal, like how Sherwood was. But a 1 year deal, it doesn't hurt. It's not like it's a bad thing that it's a 1 year deal. It just gives you less of a time to evaluate before making a trade. Um, Anything more?
But I think the thing that makes me happy about it too, and I mean you probably agree with me on this. I trust RJ. Like, I trust his talent evaluation. I trust the fact that he says, "Oh yeah, I've been following Paul Cotter's career.
Yeah.
I think there's more there." So when I hear a guy like RJ who has been finding diamonds in the rough here ever since he joined this organization, I believe him. And so yeah, and that's the thing. It's win-win-win. No matter what they do with this, it's a win.
Yeah.
Right? He either I mean and even if it's not a win, right? Like even if he doesn't pan out as anything more than a fourth liner,
Yeah.
he can't make in the lineup, then whatever, he's done at the end of the year anyways.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario, you signed a guy, paid him a couple $1 million to be around and be a fourth liner. And best case scenario, you can either trade him away for pieces, or you can end up adding him to the roster as a piece moving forward. Or maybe end up, like you said, 17 goal scorer, 20 goal scorer. Bam, that's a good piece to add for nothing.
That's definitely like best case scenario. The 17, 20 goal scorer. I mean, we didn't expect Kiefer Sherwood to be like that, but and you can't hit with all of them, but it's a nice bet. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a good bet.
Yeah.
It's not a bad. It's not like it's an Anton Roussel $3 million for term. So next up, obviously, a guy that we all know and love, and the guy we talked about a little bit earlier, Luke Schenn, is back with the Vancouver Canucks. Go ahead. We know what everybody. I think what we know. Everyone thinks about Schenn.
It's a win.
Yeah.
Papa Schenn is back, right? And I mean, this is the thing too I love about it, is they gave him the full no movement clause, so he cannot be traded away unless he agrees to it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So he because I remember the second time he came to the team, they traded him away because the season fell apart.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if he had his way, he probably would have stayed with it, right? So I think for me, looking at Luke Schenn as a human, I'm stoked for Luke Schenn because he finally gets that peace of mind that he gets to decide his destiny. And at the same time, I'm sure if same thing as Paul Cotter, if suddenly they're in a position where they're not making a push for the playoffs, bam, you can trade away Luke Schenn and send him to Colorado or Dallas or whatever, right? To a contender that give him a chance to win a cup, right? So, but Luke Schenn did Luke Schenn already win the cup? I'm trying to remember.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so he already has a cup. So for him, like, he's just stoked to be close to home, right? He's a Kelowna guy.
Yeah.
Or at least he lives in Kelowna on the off season. So yeah, I mean it's another tidy piece of business. And me and Dustin kept on saying that on my show. It's just tidy. Like, and it continues the theme that me and you talked about when we were at the Wednesday at the dev camp. Just size and speed, tenacity, right? And I mean, Schenn doesn't have the speed, but he's got no problem dropping the gloves, right? So all of a sudden, you don't have to worry about us losing Douglas, and I hate losing Douglas. But at the
he
end
got
of the
paid.
day,
Congratulations.
he got paid, so good for him. I'm happy for Dougie. And but we got Luke Schenn, who's another guy who can stand up for William or stand up for Vilander or stand up for. I mean, nobody needs to stand up for DP. He'll stand up.
No,
for
himself, he'll stand.
Right. So. It's another good piece to add, and I think the other thing is he's not going to be a guy who cares. Like in my opinion, he ends up being probably the 6-7. He'll be in and out of the lineup depending on what's going on, right? Yeah, 6-7. So and you could see games depending on who they're playing, because Manny Malhotra, and we saw what he did in Abbotsford.
Yeah,
he changed his lineup on a regular basis, and it is a huge part of the AHL. But if they're going into a game where they're playing against a high flying team, then maybe you do go with two young guys instead of maybe you go with Mancini and DPD on your bottom pair. And then if you're playing against a team like, someone more grindy like in LA, then you have Luke Schenn come in and you take Mancini out, or so there's some flexibility there. And he's not going to complain. He's just going to sit there and be as good a part of the team as he can be.
The one thing that I like with the no movement clause is I think it's more of a protection of being waived because it also protects you from being waived. Now, could they have done maybe a no move plus modify, because you can do a no move plus modified? It would have been a little bit easier, but straight no move. I'm sure if we're looking to move him for a pick, Luke Shen's not going to be like, no. He likes us enough, I feel like, where he'll be like, it's better for the team. You guys get an asset. Next up, the next NHL signing, but actually before we get to that, there was a trade to open up room for this signing. Marcus Pettersson to the New York Rangers in exchange for a 2030 first-round pick. What are your thoughts? And I was so annoyed because like 5 minutes after I left, we got the trade package announced. But what's your thoughts on the deal?
Chris Drury is a moron.
Yes. Yeah, great thought.
I want to get as many of New York's picks as I can get my hands on because I think there are a couple teams now where we like Calgary. I feel like they're trying to accelerate a little bit. Chicago, they're trying to accelerate, but like New York, I think they're completely out to lunch with what they have. And I think Chris Drury is trying to do a hybrid retool or some nonsense.
Yeah, like, retool on the fly.
Right, like it's crazy, right? Like we saw how that worked, and you know, how is JT Miller going to react now? His best buddy's gone, has been traded away, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Getting a first round pick, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's in 2030." It's like, no, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. That's it. They could be a really terrible team at that point, and even if we don't get it because it's top 10 protected, it flips over to 31.
Yeah,
and it's another good piece. Or if things go according to plan and they have more of a Montreal-sized rebuild rather than an Anaheim or a Buffalo, then in 2 or 3 years, they can use that piece and use it to bring in another piece and still have a first-round pick, right? And then you trade away which one do you think is going to be worse, right? So if you trade away your own pick because New York is shit, and you keep you keep theirs and trade away your own if you think you're going to make the playoffs. Right, so there's flexibility there, and no, I love it. The fact that we got a first-round pick back for Marcus Pettersson is hilarious because everyone freaked out when
we traded
a first-round pick, right? And I mean, I get it. Like everyone always still, every time someone talks about it, they don't talk about the fact we got Drew O'Connor too, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I know he's not. What did he get? He get like 18 goals last year.
Yeah, he had a really good, like, it's streaky but good year.
Yeah,
and,
so I mean, everyone forgets that.
Streaky.
So then, if you look at that trade, then essentially we turned JT Miller into Mancini, Drew O'Connor, Mark, and the 2030.
Right? So yeah.
So it was essentially like, yeah, I'm fine with it now. You got the first round pick back because that's one of that's one thing I always talked about with Rutherford and Alvin, that like I've probably protected them more than anyone, but that was definitely for me. I'm like, that was probably a mistake.
Yeah.
Right. Like that right there was probably a mistake, but now that it's been rectified. So you've got RJ coming in and signing Gallagher instead of Kane, and then getting a first round draft pick. So he's healing the team.
I really like the asset like, trying to think of this in like a business way. The way Durant's put it, I don't know the exact words he used, but Heedle as well in the package. JT Miller.
Heedle, yeah. Thanks for
how it's kind of like a buy low with the first round pick, where you're buying low because nobody's really caring about a 2030 first round pick in 2026. So the Rangers are like, yeah, we'll throw you a 2030 first round pick. Yeah. The value will balloon and potentially balloon. Maybe the Rangers somehow win a cup. I hope not. But it's probably going to balloon, and it's slowly going to increase value. And whether you use it or whether you trade it, you've increased your value just because you traded way too early for a 2030 first round pick. But sometimes way too early is the smart thing to do, especially when you're year one of a rebuild.
Well, it doesn't depreciate either, right?
No. Yeah.
You can't get hurt. You know, it can't have an off year.
Nope.
It is a pick.
Yeah.
It's an investment. I'm just looking at the Rangers. They've got their 2027 and their 2029. So maybe we can send DeBrusque their way or something like that and try and get their 27 or 29.
Yeah, I think that what was their 28 was for Dorofiev.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which 11 million. Please sign contracts like that. Makes Elias Pettersson look good. And then we replaced Marcus Pettersson with less term and a little bit less money in Jamie Alexiak. yet again. Is
Biggest
this
man in the NHL.
is this another
He
tiny
is.
piece of business by RJ
Oh
to
yeah,
you? Yeah.
he's the thick boy.
Yeah.
They call him Big Rig, right, for a reason. I think it's funny because the rivalry between Kraken and the Canucks has never really gotten off.
No.
Right, it's kind of there here and there, like within games, but
Yeah.
it's never been anything major. But the Kraken fans hated Tyler Myers because they hated him.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna hate Alexiak.
Yeah.
Because we've always had like I always hated them because of Jared McCann.
Yeah.
So Jared McCann was our guy, and now he's their guy, and he's doing really well for them.
At least he's not on the Leafs, because that could have been.
Right. Yeah, I mean that is true. We got a lot of Canucks on the Leafs though.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I think Alexiak might be their Jared McCann, right? Older guy, obviously, not in the same realm, but if Jamie Alexiak runs over one of their guys, like it's going to be great. He can be our new Tyler Myers. They can hate Jamie Alexiak in the same way they hate Tyler Myers, and it's the exact same thing. Every single move they've made, they probably keep him this whole year, and then next year at the trade deadline, retain half his salary, trade him off to a contender. Bam. You could get him more assets for nothing.
Yeah, I think he's a second round pick at least. Gotta be right now.
Yeah,
50% retained. Maybe you can get a fourth round pick.
Depends on how crazy people get, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? You might get a first rounder for him.
Yeah.
From a contender who's the thing is, you look at it. If he ends up trading to somebody who's going to finish high off, right? Like if you trade him to a Colorado, you trade him to a
Brock Cripps.
Whoever ends up being a contender, it ends up being like a 32nd pick or a 31st pick. That's pretty much a second rounder in some people's eyes. You might be able to get another first rounder out of it.
Swervin had a thing. He talked about this when we were talking about the Marcus Pettersson trade, but the JT Miller UFA year is 2030, so it's going to be the last year of his disgusting contract. Like, may I say, like that contract we signed was utterly horrible in terms of term. Yeah, that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch them implode. Hopefully. You never know, man. The Rangers sometimes have good luck. Hopefully the luck provides in their pick for us in the lottery. You cover a lot of the Abbotsford Canucks. I go to a lot of Abbotsford Canucks games. The rest of the signings were Abby focused, I would say. Akil Thomas and Trey Fix-Wolansky and the other guy, Steinberg. Or was it Steinberg?
Yeah, Steinberg.
Because when you can't get Steinberg, you get Steinberg.
Steinberg at home.
What are your thoughts? We'll start with Akil Thomas.
Akil Thomas is one of those guys who never really lived up to his potential as well. But I think you saw it again with their drafting, is that I think before the Canucks always drafted for a high basement and not necessarily a high ceiling.
Yeah.
They wanted to ensure that these guys had a chance. I think Akil Thomas is one of those guys who has the potential to have a pretty high ceiling too. But he definitely has a high basement as well.
Yeah. He's
got the motor. He is a hardworking guy. And I think the other thing I like about it, Richard Seeley is his old GM. He knows him better than anyone. So if Richard Seeley thinks he's worth bringing over, then he's definitely worth the price of admission. He's got a 1-year, 2-way contract. So if the injury bug sneaks up on both these franchises, because we saw it, like both Vancouver, combined between Vancouver and Abbotsford, they were like almost 700 games man lost between those two rosters, right? Like 40 people played for Vancouver and it was like 53 people played for Abbotsford. Like the numbers were staggering. And so this is the kind of guy who has been developing for the Kings for a while, but has signed with his old GM. So I like that it's not just some random dude. It's obviously someone who had a good relationship with Richard Seeley. So I like the signing. I don't know him well enough. I do remember I hated playing the Ontario Reign, right? They were a hardworking team. And he was a part of that. So I can imagine that that's what he's going to bring to the Abbey Canucks, and if he ever gets called up to the Vancouver Canucks too.
World Juniors, Canadian World Juniors legend with that awesome goal on the backhand.
2020, I think. Right?
Yeah, I went back and watched that after we signed him. That game was really good. That was the Barrett Hayton one where he came back from injury to snipe that goal. Next up is Trey Fix-Wolansky.
I hated playing against him.
Yeah.
I absolutely hated it. He's such a, I mean, he's 5'7", he's 194 pounds. The dude is a bowling ball out there.
Yeah.
Like, he's an absolute menace. And I just remember always hating playing against him, right?
Uh-huh.
Anytime he would play against the Abbey Canucks, it was just you just wanted to punch him in the face. And
Uh-huh.
those are the kind of guys that you hate playing against and you love playing with. So he has a ton of penalty minutes. He
Yeah.
has a ton of
121.
penalty minutes.
121
It's
last year, 73 the year before, and I'm pretty sure it's 246 points in 256 AHL games. The
yeah,
thing I really like about that is Akil Thomas, a little bit of offensive upside in the AHL. Trey
yeah.
Fix-Wolansky, a lot of offensive upside in the
Mhm.
AHL. Who do you throw those guys beside? You throw those guys beside Braden Coots and
Oh yeah.
Riley Patterson, and you help unlock
Yep.
a little bit more offense. And it's going to help boost those guys, not only just boost those guys' numbers of the guys who they're playing with, but just help improve their offensive instincts in general, which is why I really
Just
like these
protect them,
signings.
right?
Yeah. And if it's Richard Seeley having say in these signings, I love it. Like,
Yeah.
this guy looks like
100%.
another great mind where he's an assistant GM with the Vancouver Canucks, runs the Abbotsford club. Like, I don't think he'll take over for RJ anytime soon, but I'm saying
No.
he's going to be a great mind to develop in here. And if he becomes the next NHL GM, what does that say about RJ? Knowing to pick the right guys. So I really like these two signings. Hopefully I'm assuming he did have a say in those two. And then
Yeah.
Steinberg is the last one. It's not showing on Puckpedia. I don't think it's, no, I just haven't refreshed. What's that? Refresh? There he is. Steinberg. Isn't he big?
Yeah, he is 6'1", 182.
Oh, he's not
So
too,
he's
too
a
big.
yeah, not crazy big,
Yeah.
but he's a right hand shot as well. So that is a good thing. He needs some more right hand shots down there in Abbotsford.
Uh-huh.
And another guy who is all in all likelihood going to spend the majority of his time in Abbotsford. But,
Yeah.
yet again, like we said, another tidy piece of business because he's signed to a 1-year, 2-way contract.
Uh-huh. And 22 penalty minutes in 8 NHL games. So
Yeah.
we're gonna like him.
Yeah.
Um,
And then so I mean, in the AHL, he's essentially a penalty minute a game.
yeah.
So
Oh man, I love those guys who are penalty minutes a game.
yeah,
I wanted to get your thoughts on some extensions, and one of them a first-time NHL contract. I want first to talk about Cole Clayton, one of the guys that we picked up in a trade that came into Abbotsford that we're keeping around. I really like Cole Clayton, Cowboy. I'm assuming you're probably the same based on how you're reacting to what I'm saying. But great guy to keep around for the Abbey Decor.
Oh yeah. I think said this a few times. I think the Abbotsford Canucks are going to be sneaky good next year because I think they might have one of the best defense in the AHL next year with what they've got signed because they've got Cole Clayton, who's been given another 1-year deal. They got Jack Thompson, who they've re-signed, who they got for Jet Wu last year.
Yeah.
Those are both guys they traded for, and they both came in and performed very nicely. Like Cole Clayton is a big, tough guy. He's going to go around. He's going to knock people over. Jack Thompson was a point per game playing for them. He has never really gotten a chance to play in the NHL as well, so more depth for guys who can make that transition. Cole Clayton actually got called up at one point last year, but Patrick Alvin screwed the whole thing up. He never actually played a game.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. So yeah, those two guys was awesome to see both. I was very excited to see they actually got them both to come back. And I'm sure they're like it says they're probably making about 850 in the NHL. I assume they'll probably be making more like 300 grand or something in the AHL. Or something
275
like
for Clayton.
275.
And then for Jack Thompson, it is 290.
Yeah, so they're getting decent money down there as well, which is how they can keep them around. And obviously, living in Abbotsford and being close to Abbotsford's a beautiful town, so it's not a bad place to live. And I'm sure they're both enjoying living there. So
yeah.
And then on top of that, right, they still have Sorominio, they still have Kudratsev, they still right, like it's gonna be. I'm very happy going into this year. You're gonna have pretty much everyone back that you wanted to have back for the Abbey Canucks, unlike the year before where it was like obviously Calder Cup team got pilfered and so it's going to be, I think the Abbey Canucks might be a very good team next year.
Their decor, Sawyer Minio, who's going to probably hopefully take a step next year. And he had a really good rookie year with the Abbotsford Canucks.
Yep.
Kind of the obvious pick for rookie of the year because he kind of was only really like one of the only rookies who could perform great. Kirill Kudryavtsev, who probably will stick around down there a little bit more than I would hope, but I don't know if he really pans out. He's probably bottom six at most, but going to be a very solid bottom sixer, hopefully. And then they got Guillaume Brisebois and Jimmy Schultz is on contract as well.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is forwards, and the one guy who got the contract, and I'm so happy he got an NHL deal, Chase Waters. He's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
If I could put a guy on the back of my Abbey Canucks jersey, I would have put him, but I didn't want to put a player on because especially the player turnover in the AHL is not as good as the NHL. But we're happy for our guy Chase Waters.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And he got a fat contract too, which is good to see. So, what is he making down there? I think he's making
$425.
Yeah, $425, and he deserves every penny of that because the man works his butt off. He sets the, call him up, make him the captain of the Vancouver Canucks, right?
Exactly.
So, it's just his speech at the end, right? When they won the cup, and he said, "We show up with a smile on our face every day," right? Like that. That is exactly what we need for this organization, top to bottom, and he sets the standard. And there's a reason he's the captain. I believe he was a WHL guy before.
Saskatoon Blades, if I'm not mistaken.
Right? And he was undrafted, and the Canucks signed him, and he rose to power and proved that he should be the captain down there. And he carried that team last year as much as he could, and he helped them finish strong, even though it was a really tough year down there. The practices were still crisp. And nobody ever showed up and was lazy, right? There was no slacking off. There was never a night where you're like, no, the Abbey Canucks weren't trying tonight.
No. Yeah, especially him. Just, he'll work hard. He's a great leader. He'll hit and he'll fight. He is not afraid to fight, and that's what I like about him. I said this last year. He didn't have an NHL contract, but I'm like, put pen to paper and bring him up at the end of the year because it shows what real culture is like, what a real leader is like, and he can help even the veterans, show the veterans what you need to be as a leader. And now I'm happy that he finally got his NHL deal. Getting a little late, I do apologize. I'm a little tired. Before we end off, anything that you want to talk about?
I'm just stoked. They continue to do good work. So it was a really tough year to be a Canucks fan, but with the new regime intact and all the work that they're doing, and it's just great. It's so funny how everyone's like, "Oh, we need to be patient. This is a rebuild. You got to be patient." And then it's just everything online is just like, "Why are they trading on? How come they haven't traded?
Exactly.
Trade this guy, trade that." It's like, no, we're taking our time. We're chilling out. If somebody came to us and said, "We'll give you 3 first-round picks for PD," they would go to him and ask him, right? It's the same thing with Marcus Pettersson, right? They didn't seek out, but the New York Rangers came and said, "Hey, we'll give you a first rounder for him." They went to Marcus Pettersson and said, "Hey, what do you think?" So I'm loving everything that they're doing. It's been great to see the change of guard, and I'm very excited. I just want it to be September already because we got the schedule release is coming up next week. I think it's the 15th. They released the home openers. The 16th, they released the full NHL schedule. The Abbotsford Canucks schedule just got released. So it's time to start planning things out. So
no Laval, sadly. That's what I noticed. It was really sad.
Yeah, Hamilton has replaced them.
Yeah.
The Hamilton Hammer, who just
I'm excited
revealed their jerseys the other day.
Hamilton, yeah. Last but not least, anything you want to shout out before you head out?
Make sure, if you haven't done it yet, like and subscribe to this video that you're watching right now. CanucksLand is grinding. He's always grinding. He's one of the best. He is a rising star in the world of the Vancouver Canucks and the Abbotsford Canucks. So make sure, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button for him because he's awesome and he works his butt off and he deserves it. And without Sportsnet 650, this is going to be the best way for you guys to get your information. So make sure you click the subscribe button because that'll notify you whenever new things go up on this channel.
Thank you so much. You're my biggest fan. That's why I'm going to say that now. Every time we're on, you're my biggest fan. You always hype me up the most. Also, shout out your stuff too. Don't just shout out me.
Oh yeah. Check it out. I had we've started doing the podcast thing, so that's
is that on the same channel, the Nothing Is Perfect channel? Okay.
It's everything's on Just Nothing Is Perfect here on YouTube. So if you haven't, we're doing, it's pretty much a weekly podcast. I'm being on guests, so I'll bring you on at some point this summer. We've had Matt Baker from the BC Lions, one of my buddies. We had Sapster on. We had Knuckhead on last week, which was crazy. It was good to chat with him.
I have to
And
go check that out. I still haven't.
yeah, check that. It was great. He's so funny. So that was a fun chat. And then yeah, I've got some more stuff coming up. So I'm trying to get some cool guests. I usually spend my summers trying to bring people on that I've never had on, and then bringing people back on to just chat about what they're doing for their summer and what they expect moving forward. So yeah, check it out. And then there will probably be some more content. I plan on burning this very soon. So look forward to this. I've just started making the video. So this is going to be burned soon enough. I wanted to get some footage of it. So we're going to cut together a video and burn it. And have someone on that. And then, yeah, there will probably by August, you'll see me doing some NHL content. So I'll hook you up with that. Because I'm trying to, is it PlayStation or Xbox for you?
PlayStation.
Okay, perfect. Because I was thinking I was going to challenge you to like a best of 7 or something like that.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah, we can stream it. It'll be great.
All right. Without further ado, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on. And we'll have you on for a pre-recorded pod before the start of the season.
Sounds good, brother. Make good choices.
It's you as well. Have a good night. All right. Nothing is perfect. That is it. There we go. Let's go over here. Apologies, Jeremiah. Unfortunately, I'm really tired. I do want to end the stream. I've been going for 2.5 hours. I did not think I'd be going for 2.5 hours. Make sure, though, next time I do hop onto a stream, I will do an open house for everybody. We'll get a lot of people on for their opinion. I do apologize. I'm really tired. But without further ado, that is it for this one. Thank you guys so much for joining the live. We went a while. I didn't expect myself to go a while. 2 fun guests joining. I couldn't say no to a good time. So, yeah. Without further ado, that is it for this one. If you're a Canucks fan, you enjoy this kind of content, hit that subscribe button, hit the like comment, hit the like button, and yeah, more content coming throughout the summer. I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna also slow down a little bit, but still try to produce great content for you guys. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.